because a Fandom Menace isn't just toxic white males. It's toxic femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge with Miss Sarcastic Nerd, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, the mistress of mayhem herself, Miss Mary Mayhem. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Toxic Femininity. It's Sunday night. Joining us as a special guest is OG Star Wars Legends gal. Say hello.
Hello, and I have a message for Santa. Santa, I can't wait till you come help me trim my tree, baby.
Oh. Wow, she just went there, like right there.
Like it weren't nothing. She's wearing garland as a boa.
Yeah,
Hey, it works.
She just got back from a Christmas party, so you guys, I'm a little jealous.
I want to partake in all of the Christmas mimosas.
Yeah.
We're all a little bit in the Christmas spirit here, it looks like. Miss Sarcastic Nerd right below me here. Say hello to the people out there.
Hello, people.
And right next to me here, we got Geeky Candy with some antlers on. How you doing?
Hey there, I'm Candace, aka Geeky Candy, and I'm feeling about as toxic as a man assuming he can drive when I'm in the car.
I was going to say, you're looking pretty horny, but those are antlers, so it doesn't count. Mary Mayhem, the mistress of mayhem, the goddess of the internet, Mary B herself, our hostess with the Moa. Well, now you just interrupted me. Go.
Oh my goodness. Hi, guys. I am so ready for this. We did homework. Fracking homework, people. Star Wars has become homework.
And we got some super chats, or at least one anyway, before we even get started here from Miss Sister Harold. Thank you so much. We love you so much out there in the chat. Everybody watching.
Thank you.
We've got so much Star Wars news to talk about. So what do you ladies say we just get to the program?
I'd rather do drugs and play hopscotch.
I would want nothing more, Tom.
I'm with Miss, but let's get to the news.
Burning it up tonight, guys. We have so much to discuss tonight. So we're going to get into the leaks first. So the leaks are going to be our main priority for tonight. We're going to kind of lead off with, because as you guys may or may not have noticed, there are so many of them. So if this is your warning, this is your heads up ahead of time, guys. If you do not want to participate in potential spoilers and leaks for The Rise of Skywalker, I'm not sure why you would care, but this is your warning ahead of time. So most of us have found, do you want me to go ahead and get that before we get into this summer?
Please.
So we got a $4.99 super chat from Austin Trench. He says, Transformers 1990 is coming. 4chan leaks. It's a reboot. Thank Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Oh, y'all still on Trainwreck Wars. Yikes. Yes. This is unfortunately where we are at, guys, is we are on the very cusp of the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker coming out, and so this is what is in the news for us. So we are going to be discussing spoilers tonight. As I said, if you are not on the whole spoiler train and you don't want that messed up for you, but probably now is a good time to check out. However, I would encourage you to stick around.
We're doing you a favor.
Someone warn you about this track that is coming so completely assuredly. So to kind of kick this off, we want to kind of do our best to lay the groundwork on why it is that we believe these spoilers are in fact valid, or have at least been validated to a good extent here. And I believe you did a video on this topic here on Midnight's Edge, correct? Tom, Andre, and Rob certainly did.
We did one a while back, and then we did one most recently about the leaks that we're going to be covering tonight.
Yes, many leaks. So the Swedish movie rating system, the MPAA, has done about as good a job as confirming as you can.
I believe it translates loosely to like the Swedish Film Board. The MPAA stands for Motion Picture Association of America. So
okay.
No more mansplaining, I promise.
No more mansplaining. So here's
I don't mind mansplaining, Tom. Please
it was originally put out in Swedish. And of course, none of us ladies here can read Swedish, but Andre can. So he translated that for us. And here's what it says. And this will lead us straight into the leaks, guys. So the presentation, the presentation being The Rise of Skywalker, contains elements of frightening and threatening atmosphere, battles where people are shot and drilled through by laser swords, intensive space battles, powerful explosions, and crashing spaceships, as well as a fright-inducing. Now, this is where the leak comes into play, and we're going to get into this a bit, guys. As well as a fright-inducing man who pulls the life force out of people. This may lead to strong feelings of fear and worry. It is therefore deemed that the presentation might be harmful for the well-being of children under age 11. Yes, Star Wars.
Wait.
Kids.
What did Freddie Prinze say the other day?
Star Wars.
That just happened, right? I'm losing my mind. Forget it. I'm sorry.
I could have sworn he said something about Star Wars being for some kind of age group.
He said,
Yes.
Star Wars is for fucking kids, dog.
Dog. Yeah, dog.
No, bruh. He said bruh.
Yeah,
Bruh.
dude,
Right,
they're like totally.
I
for kids,
apologize. He
dog.
said, Star Wars is for fucking kids, bruh.
They're for kids older than 11.
No, he said dog.
And okay.
Make up my mind.
Yeah.
Comedy.
He knows what he's talking about. I'm just like
Star Wars is for kids, dog. So the reason that this is so incredibly significant is because the Swedish movie rating system, they sometimes leak spoilers because of the way it is that they go about breaking these movies down and giving them the ratings, because it is separate from the movie industry itself. It's something that's done by the government, so they put it out there for you, and sometimes that results in spoilers and leaks. And what's interesting about this is that this coincides so completely with the leaks that we saw given to us by Jedi Paxis over on Reddit. And full credit, of course, to Jedi Paxis for being the one to make sure that he put these leaks out there. And so far, they line up perfectly. And so this really does it really goes a long way to validate the leaks that we've been seeing. One of which, let me go ahead and get in here. I'm going to read this to you guys here. I'm going to read it to you. So, Palpatine apparently speaks about the bond they share, Kylo Ren and Rey, and how extremely powerful and rare it is. He then sucks their life to restore his, and we see his white eyes turn the yellow/orange Sith style. Yes, guys, you heard that correctly. This was in the leaks prior to the Swedish government putting out their rating for the movie itself. So it goes a long way to validate these leaks that we have been seeing out. And for me personally, and I will go ahead and state that up front, for me personally, it validates every subsequent leak that we see within that same post, because this is too dead on. This is too spot on for me personally to see something like the life force being mentioned in the Swedish rating system being pulled out of people, and then for that same leak to have been previously posted by Jedi Paxis. It is far too spot on for me. So I think it's an interesting thing. Disney's lost complete control. They've lost it. They have no control over what's getting put out there anymore. And I am kind of thrilled, because now a lot of people can know what's going to happen in this movie without ever having to give Disney Star Wars their money in order to pay for that. And that's been the kicker for everybody. It's like, oh, we want to know how this ends. We want to know where this goes, right? Well, good for you. Congratulations. You don't have to be in that theater on opening day. You don't have to contribute to what it is that Disney Star Wars is wanting to put out there. You can, in fact, know for yourself. You can see the shit show for yourself, guys. And I'm not going to lie. This entire ordeal has felt like homework, guys. This Star Wars isn't fun anymore. It's not fun.
Mary, I have a question. I'm so sorry. Can you confirm this for me? Are you telling me that Palpatine has turned into essentially the fourth Sanderson sister from Hocus Pocus?
That's exactly what we're telling you. So
Wow.
you haven't seen it.
Wow. Well, it is from Disney, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yes. So they're sucking the life out of people. And we've gone over this. We went over this extensively. Look, we're not going to get through all of the leaks here in this program today, because they're essentially it divulges the entire movie. The entire movie's it gets broken down pretty straightforward for us. There's no way we could go through all of the leaks for you guys, but we broken this down.
If we did, you'd fall asleep halfway through describing the leaks. I swear.
It did. It feels like homework. We sat around today for a couple of hours trying to get this sorted out and to have this prepared for you guys, and it feels like homework. It wasn't even fun. You guys remember when hearing a leak about Star Wars made you excited?
Yes.
I remember.
You remember?
I remember. Those are the good member berries.
Yes.
Now my heart hurts just a little bit.
Yeah, now my heart doesn't hurt anymore. I'm just laughing. I just laugh because I feel literally like this is the Mad Libs version of Star Wars. Literally, you could pull any random thing out of thin air, toss it into a Mad Libs Star Wars story, and we've got The Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be the best comedy holiday season. I guarantee it.
I feel like I lost a couple of brain cells just reading through this shit.
I'm sure it's going to look amazing. I'm sure it's going to look fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
J.J. Abrams. But reading it, it's just like I'd rather read the dictionary.
Well, you guys saw the article on the seizures, right? The seizures.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's all they have anymore.
That's the only trigger warning they're going to give you.
Seizures and lens flares is
flare.
AJ's specialty. You're going to have your lens flares and your seizures.
Yeah, you're going to have everything you could possibly want visually and in terms of content and the legitimate storytelling process. You could just throw those expectations right out the window, guys, because none of this makes any sense. And as I understand it, it's an they're incredibly ambiguous about how it is that a lot of the stuff even comes about. Never mind. Don't ask any questions, guys. You don't need to know anything about the man behind the curtain, right? You don't need to know why or how it is that Palpatine is even there. And of course, I'll try to not touch on that too much because I know there's Candace's. We're saving that for a later part of the show.
Oh, you can touch on Palpatine all you want. I'll just.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't want to do this.
He'd probably like it, Mary.
Don't go to the dark side. No.
It's really
All right.
I will show you the true power of the dark side.
Do it. I'll show you the real rise of Skywalker.
Do it! Do it now!
You want to see Jake Skywalker's
I'm
rise?
sorry.
I don't wanna. No, there are a lot of questions to be had by a lot of people, right? But it's incredibly ambiguous what it is that they do, or they never really explain why they make a lot of the decisions that they make. Like, for example, how it is that you can pull the lift. Now, Laura, you might know more about this than I do because you're Legends continuity kind of gal. You know all of that's and by Legends, of course, I mean the expanded universe.
Yes.
You know all about all that good stuff. Is there precedent for this pulling the life force out of another force user? Is there precedent for that?
Darth Nihilus is one that's in Legends, and he's the one that used took the essence of Force to survive so long. So they might be cherry picking that from Legends. And also too, when you go into Jedi Academy, Exar Kun, he possessed one of Luke's brand new students as well. But relatively, they usually stay like if you're a Force ghost, or not a Force ghost, but a Sith spirit, I guess you can say, usually they're stuck in one spot unless they can possess someone or someone takes that energy from you. So that's already established somewhat in Legends.
So the ability to pull the life force out of someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to maintain life. That's Darth Nihilus in Couture. Or past
Well,
that.
they could be pulling from Hocus Pocus lore because I'm pretty sure I've seen that before on Disney Channel.
They're pulling from something.
Yeah.
Would you want to bet that's probably what they pulled it from? Because it's not likely that they read the expanded universe to know about this stuff. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I'm thinking. I mean, my mind was going, and I was like, "Oh, that's Disney too." They did it from there. They got it from there. You know, it's for sure. I almost guarantee it. They're like, I wonder if he's going to do it just like them too. That'd be beautiful. I want to see him just pucker up and just suck away.
Well,
Yeah, I just said that.
I have another question for
Pucker up.
What about the giving of your life force? Is there any precedent for giving your own life force to another being in order to sustain their life and in turn giving up some of your own?
No, there's healing. There's Force healing.
There's force healing. So I'm curious because I was reading through this, and so they come back to this same concept over and over and over again in the leaks. Ray heals a giant worm, right? So as I understand it, it's like it looks like a video game, right? Like there's a worm there, and it's in the way, and they need to get it out of the way. So
Care of that and move on.
how do you move the worm? Well, it's like a video game, guys. You got to figure out exactly what to do for the worm to get it out of your way. So she goes over and she heals it, and then later on, she's in the battle with Palps, right? They're going at it. He goes to force strike her with lightning, as he do, and she blocks it with one sword, and then she brings another sword up and she crosses him and she redirects it back to him, right? So she's redirecting the force lightning to him. She shoots it back at him. He explodes. He goes into teeny tiny pieces because we've never seen that happen before.
And then how do we know that he died then?
We don't.
That's really what this all comes to for me. I'm like, okay, now what?
I can't remember who said it.
Now
but,
what?
No one's ever really gone. This shit show's never gonna end.
So he explodes in that from force lightning. However, when Vader saves Luke from him, and that force lightning's going from him to Vader, and that's going, basically that's conducting between the two because Vader's part metal and all that. Why isn't he dying then?
Freaking no. We don't know.
Why? This is bullshit. This is like, it's like, oh, let's just go ahead and do this because, reasons. Yeah. And JJ stated, oh, I'm going to give you guys force abilities, force powers that you have never seen before. No. However, we're already proving that this has already been done in Legends.
Yeah. Well, this is now Frankenpalps.
Something dark side.
This is
something dark side.
This is Frankenpalps. So maybe Frankenpalps isn't made of the same materials as Palps 1.0.
I mean, can we even call it Palps?
I don't know. He's Palps Light, maybe Diet Palps. I don't know.
We will get into that because there's then that's in Candace's section of it. Some of the wording that you have to pay close attention to. It is definitively Palpatine. I don't even get the impression that it's a clone based off of the wording that we have in the leaks. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next part here, and this is where we get into the Reylo stuff, and this is what legitimately ticks me off about Reylo. So, guys, Reylo is happening. It's a thing. It's going to happen. You need to own this up front. Reylo is happening. So according to the leaks, Palpatine, after our little Rey friend, she does the floaty thing with the lightsabers and the back stuff, and he explodes for the second time. He disintegrates, causing the arena to crumble. Okay, now this is where the new information comes into the picture. It kills Rey, but also it kills Rey, right? So the arena crumbles on top of her because she can't lift stones, guys.
Oh, but she
never seen her do that.
Planet from a vehicle. Okay, from a spaceship. Okay, she literally separates the planet from the spaceship.
She can't do that, guys. We've never seen
the rock. No, we have men for that. We have.
When I was a kid, that was called lifting shit out of the water.
No, she doesn't lift anything out of the water. She moves the planet from the ship.
Now, normally we wait a little bit to do these super chats, but these leaks are so intense and ongoing that we're going to buzz through these real quick here.
Okay.
Austin Trench, $1.99. Star Wars is for kids, and I think Coolsville sucks.
Agreed.
That, of course, is reference to Mr. Freddie Prinz. Our good friend, the DCB Titan, sends us $2 from the Great White North. So old man sucks two youngsters to regain vitality.
Oh, sounds like something that the higher-ups in Disney would come up with.
Sounds like a night at Epstein's. But anyway, let's keep going.
ABC. They're crazy.
Grendel Fan 84 sends us $4.99. So can we say they ripped off the 80s sci-fi classic Life Force? The movie with space vampires sucking out the life force of people. I remember that movie. I remember that movie.
Horrifying, guys. It's and look, the Swedish movie system or movie rating system looks at this and they're saying this is legitimately uncomfortable, right? This is not a comfortable thing to look at for us. So it is. It's meant to make us all just a bit uncomfortable.
J.J. Abrams does not have an original bone in his body.
No. Hack is about the best word I can think of to describe him.
And didn't JJ say that he can start movies, but he doesn't know how to end them?
Yeah, but he can totally end our trilogy.
Yeah, he said, I don't know how to end movies well.
this is a great idea. You should end the trilogy for us, JJ.
And then let's just blame Rianne for bringing me this far. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to finish it and then blame him for what happened.
So apparently previously Kylo Ren had been kicked down into a pit, right? So he's down in there. And after the arena crumbles on Rey and murders her, because, she can't handle holding rocks up with the Force, Ben climbs out of the pit to find a dead Rey. And he decides to give his life for her. So he uses the healing trick to save Rey, but he drains his own life force in the process. So this to me is a callback, and there's a little bit more here. We'll get into the Reylo stuff here in a second, but this is a callback to what it was that we saw in The Last Jedi, where Luke Skywalker force Skyped himself to death, right? Because you can force too hard, guys. You can force too hard and it kills you. So he apparently heals her. He does a little healing trick. Now we don't know from the leaks whether or not that healing trick is giving some of your own life force and transferring it over, or if this is literally just him forcing himself, like using the force
on her, pretty much.
Forcing himself
on her.
Yeah. Did he ask permission first? Did he get her? Did he get consent?
No.
Okay, so I think there's going to be problems with this. I'm just going to say that.
It was necrophilia.
Star Wars HR was called, and we have to say it could be the other way around too. It could. The way I read it originally was he was dying and then she kisses him.
Well,
I know that doesn't make it any better, but it does to them.
There's a different part of the leaks where he is dying but Alora's going to cover that in a little bit.
Right.
I can't wait to find out about that.
This goes back and forth. They keep reusing the same stuff from the same movie over and over again. And I know it's Star Wars and it's supposed to rhyme, but you can't keep throwing the same junk at us all the time and expecting it to feel new or special. So
I love how creative they get with all the dead people. It's wonderful. It's really
so much
wonderful.
necrophilia.
That's where George
No
got
one
it
has
right
ever
because he
gone.
said that thing. Damn it. That's where George did it right, because he says they nod to each other, and by nodding or rhyming, it just shows the progression of the characters and something that's relatively okay, so Luke is related to of course Anakin's his father, they have that little nod there, but I mean when they do the lightsaber salute or whatever, but I mean it's not identical shit.
Well, so this is where it gets super cringe, guys. So after she, dies and he force resurrects her and gives his own life for it, there's this weird fanfic moment. I guess this is right before he dies, where they kiss. And so all of the Reylos can unite under this one banner, right? So this strong, empowered woman. Now, we don't know whether or not she kisses him or he kisses her. We don't know. But either way, it is horrifying.
You're encouraging the wrong crowd, Disney. Have you seen their fan art? You are really encouraging the wrong crowd here with that one.
Their fan art draws the gaze of Chris Hansen. Let's just put it that way.
So here's why this is a problem. All right. There is no reason whatsoever for Rey or for Kylo Ren, or Ben, I guess as he's been redeemed, to be so invested in the well-being of the other person. None whatsoever. Especially if the news about her being the granddaughter of Palpatine is true, because they have never aligned. Their interests have never aligned. And if your interests don't align and you're not blood, you're not family, there's no reason for you to care about one another, not even biologically speaking, hey, I'm bound to this person, whether I like it or not. This is my heritage. This is my family. If none of that exists for you, then why do you care? Why do you care about this other person? It makes no sense.
She was the only female in the room at the time, so Kylo could just be,
Yeah, her choices were limited. It was either the black guy, Poe, the droid, the Wookiee, or this guy? Of course she's going to go with the bad guy.
Because strong
Yeah,
empowered
I mean, he does
Bad
look
guy.
decent. He does look decent with a helmet on. So
well, because strong empowered women need anybody to go with, right? You have to pick somebody, right? You gotta pick somebody. You can't just, exist and do the right thing based on, just doing the right thing. No, you gotta pick somebody to be with, right? So this guy murders the only father figure she's ever had in her life. And Daisy Ridley recently did an interview where she acknowledged that one of the reasons why she had so many issues with The Last Jedi was because she was yearning and searching for family, and she wanted a father figure, and she felt like Luke should have fulfilled that role, and he didn't. So the only person who reciprocated that affection to her, as tentatively as it may have been, was Han Solo, and Ben murdered him. And the only thing we've seen in terms of it was just a switch. It was just a switch that happened. We still don't even understand why the heck suddenly you care about Ben Swolo. We don't know. We don't know why you care about him.
still a lot of money.
The two of us need look no more.
Look, I've always compared their relationship to Twilight. So
Yeah. Well, it's
So
bizarre.
Ray's like, you killed my daddy. Will you be my daddy? Is that what she's doing?
If you want to be my lover, you got to kill my father figure.
So
make it last forever because they like to bring people back.
Because nobody ever died.
Yep.
gone. So,
Yep.
so yes, guys, we are getting Raylo, and that strong female character that they were trying so hard to push is diminished in every way possible, because you have now made her sole driving force and motive for doing any of this shit in order to redeem a guy that she has no reason to need to redeem, no reason to be invested in his well-being. She has no familial connection to, none of that. And you're going to have them kiss on screen, and that is the reason why you have her move forward. And as I
Just to
understand,
anoint her sainthood.
oh yeah,
She's a saint.
but we don't know why. We knew. Look, we knew why Luke was so determined to stand in the gap for Vader. We knew why that was, because it was his father,
Mhm.
and that wasn't going anywhere. There was nothing he could ever do to erase that familial tie. And what he could do was try to bring him back. He couldn't erase the horrible deeds he'd done in the past. But what he could do was maybe try to redeem him so that the future could be different, because this was his father. And there was no way from that. But there's no reason for these two to care about each other. And you're telling me, Disney Lucasfilm, you're telling me that Rey is bound and determined to redeem him because of romance?
Well, this was the plan all along, Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Every interview that they've said, this is the plan. They have had this understood, that we just now are getting wind of it. And it just turns out that the Raylos were right.
The Raylos were right all along. Like, aren't you thrilled? Aren't you thrilled? Isn't this everything Star Wars that you've ever wanted?
No,
Yeah,
don't
a
you
love
get
story.
it? He's just trying to cram as much crap in here as he can to make everybody fucking happy. In the end, nobody's going to be happy. He's trying to fix The Last Jedi. He's trying to appease the new fans. He's trying to appease the Raylos. He's trying to appease Disney. He's trying to appease us. It ain't going to happen.
See, here's my big gripe is if we look at the love story in the originals, it was done so well. There was the audience was let in on a secret, and the characters didn't know, and it was so playful in that way and so honest. Like it had an organic feeling to it. No force. No, it's not
No pun
forced.
intended.
Yeah, and it was, and it was even, the whole idea of the brother and sister like kissing. I mean, it had moments of like kind of, but it was done so playfully and so nice. It just,
Well, and it
that's
contributed.
where we came from, and now this is where we are with love and relationships and Star Wars, and it's just so weird. It's so weird.
George wanted a classic
I'm
50s
sorry.
timeless thing, and who wouldn't want to fall in love with Han Solo?
Well, I'm sorry, but give me a brother and a sister kissing, not knowing that they're a brother and a sister.
Yes.
Any day over two people kissing one another as the result of an abusive, toxic, horrifying relationship. Give me that any day of the week. As much as people step back and cringe and go, they're brother and sister.
No one gets
We don't do.
but I get you.
You
Oh,
should
God.
you shouldn't just cringe at
You give me weird goosebumps, Tom. Like, not the good ones. Those are. Ugh. Sorry.
You should not just be cringing at Raylo people. You should be horrified. You should be absolutely traumatized at the notion that a woman would in any way want anything to do with redeeming the person who murdered her father figure. He murdered him, and we have no idea why she cares.
Did he though? Did he? Gosh, I just hate the word murdered in this show.
Your father figure.
Not
I
Ray,
agree,
I'm
Mary.
your father, but Ray, I murdered your father figure. This makes no sense. And I still to this day do not understand why they expect me to believe this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. As much as I don't believe Rose Tico and Finn take my middle school kiss and I die. Right? Like, I didn't believe that. There was nothing about. Were you guys anything more than buds? Or
I don't even remember. Did they kiss? Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, you totally Me Too'd Finn. And now I'm thinking Kylo Ren is gonna Me Too Rey, and everybody's gonna swoon, and you guys should be so thrilled. So yeah, I am disgusted, and these leaks turn me more and more off to this movie. I'm literally, because I'm going to see the movie on Thursday, right? And every piece of me is essentially bracing myself for seeing this stuff on screen in front of me. Also for the seizures, you know.
But do stand up and slow clap when they kiss. Everybody needs to do that. So we all know that we all know who we all are. Stand up and slow clap when they kiss and look around, and you'll see more people that are in on it with you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm telling everybody to do, because I really
I have my popcorn and I have my chocolate covered nuts. Who wants some chocolate covered nuts?
I can't.
I'll take two.
Want them hanging low?
just toss them over this way when you're done.
I want
goobers
in the box.
I can't wait for the Raylos to just be so proud of themselves, patting themselves on the back on Twitter.
So I'm going to pass it on over to Miss. She's got a few leaks she's going to run down for us as well. And I'm going to let her hand. I'm going to hand.
Before Miss takes over, we should probably catch up on these super chats.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we leave off here? Thomas Branch, I think, was the last one. $10. Y'all are making me so happy right now. Disney has been crushing my soul with the new series, and it's awesome not to have to suffer alone. LOL. Well, of course we're here for you. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
And it's therapy for some of us too.
Exactly. Matt G sent us $5. Didn't the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, one of the Mortis gods, do something like this to save Ahsoka? OG Star Wars girl, I think that's your domain.
Well, that's Clone Wars, I believe.
Who's the Clone Wars person then? EU Clone Wars, it's all the same to me. It's all crap I'm never gonna watch.
Yeah, Clone Wars is the EU, and Ahsoka is from there, and there are leaks about her, just recent leaks about her that JJ brought out. So, but that's not my topic. But I'll help expand.
I'm going to talk about that one.
That will come up shortly, so do stay tuned for that, Matt G. Then we got another one from the DCV Titan from the Great White North. Don't you deal with worms by walking without rhythm?
I have no idea what that means.
I'm not sure either.
I don't know what that means.
Unless it means because you're not dead. I don't know. You'll have to explain that one a little bit better, DCV Titan, or I'm not clicking with the reference.
Yeah. Sorry. That went over our head. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Matt G sent $2.
Dune reference. Dune reference.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. I watched Dune once.
Girl.
Matt G, $2. Emperor in episode 6 was a clone Engelberg Palpatine.
Wait, what?
The one in episode 6 wasn't the real Palpatine. It was a clone named Engelberg.
Nice.
Holy crap.
McKinney90 says it's $5. Wait, does Me Too apply to someone who brings you back to life? That's a very good question.
With written consent, not just verbal.
You have to have written.
Yes, it must be written, and it can be revoked even after the life has been restored to her.
Yeah, I would assume that's got to fall under some kind of.
Tom's
Why,
gone.
hi.
Yeah,
Tom.
yes, the written consent can in fact be revoked after you've given her back her life, and after you've already given her the kiss. If she decides that she doesn't like it, she can revoke it, and in fact, I think we should just preemptively throw him in jail. I'm just saying. I just think we should go ahead and chuck him in jail right now.
And that was our last super chat from what I can see.
Yes.
So I think, Miss, you are up,
We're
my
on
dear.
track. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, guys, I'm a sarcastic nerd and I hate J.J. Abrams. And this is 2 pages of anger. I've
Do
written.
it.
If
Do
there's
it.
one thing I'm good at, it's being angry at J.J. Abrams. Now, I'm going to cover 3 of the leaks, which prove that J.J. Abrams is a moron, and sort of read my little rant that I've written down. So the first leak, as written, is Palpatine sees the arrival of reinforcements, begins to laugh. He then lightning storms a chunk of the fleet out of the sky. Even Poe's X-Wing is shut off for a good bit. Okay, Palpatine is able to summon a lightning storm, which I will get into in this. I'm sorry. I'm so mad. My heart is racing. I'm angry. Okay, the second one, after Kylo is stabbed, Han shows up out of nowhere. Not a Force ghost. It's as if he's standing there alive again. He gives Kylo some words of encouragement, and then there's a conversation that very closely mirrors Han's death scene in The Force Awakens, including the I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it bit. He even holds a lightsaber in the same spot, but he turns and throws it into the watery wreckage of the Death Star. J.J. Abrams not knowing how anything works, and again, creating things that he thinks will look good with no further thought of how it affects the story. This is the third one, when Rey grabs the dagger in Kylo's quarters on his Star Destroyer, she sees Ochi attacking her parents. They apparently left her on Jakku, ran, and later killed in what appears to be a city setting, not on Jakku, according to this person. They're apparently killed because they won't reveal where Rey is. A complete, just can't remember the word because I'm angry. Retcon of The Last Jedi and Rey's entire just life. So I'm going to read this because I'm better at writing stuff. J.J. Abrams, as I've said many times, does not know how to write a story that flows. A story is a sum of all its parts. And from my point of view, the 75% we already have is not good. They failed to create characters to be invested in. They failed to do our original favorite characters justice. And they failed to expand a huge universe. A universe full of love, passion, adventure, and mythos. I honestly believe it would have taken a lot of work to fix the story. But if anything this entire story needed passion. Even a smidgen of love for what you do, specifically in story writing. J.J. Abrams is very skilled in visuals, but story writing has never been his strong suit. He knows what will look cool, but can't think past that, whether it makes sense or how it affects the validity of the story. J.J. Abrams is nothing but a salesman playing on the lack of care casual moviegoers have for stories.
Well, I think that's a legitimate point, is that he claims to be this giant Star Wars fan, but you can't deny that there's nothing but evidence to the fact that he fundamentally doesn't understand Star Wars. So what he does is he plays on the nostalgia of people, like Force Ghost Han. I mean, he's not really a Force Ghost because, I know that he can't be a Force Ghost because, he doesn't have the Force. So he's just a ghost, guys.
And what's better than one Force Ghost? All the Force Ghosts. Yes.
Force
We
goes
need-
over
we
here,
need more-
Force go over there.
We need more Force Ghosts.
And you get a Force Ghost and you get a Force Ghost.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh my god. So
Everybody gets a fracking Force ghost, even if you don't have the Force.
Yeah.
Because everybody has the Force, and everybody gets to have a Force ghost. And now, what the hell does this even mean? We don't understand because JJ leaves it ambiguous, right?
The Chinese are getting pissed. You have to call it Force Spirit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Suck my left nut. No, I don't care. Sorry.
Don't
Grin
cancel
and bear it, baby.
Don't cancel us, China.
No, look, all I'm saying is that he doesn't care. He doesn't genuinely care or understand this stuff. He throws whatever he can at the wall and sees what sticks. And if you don't like it, then look at this flashy light over here. Hey, here's a Force ghost. So I'm not going to.
Lovely.
basically, one by one, looking at all these stupid things. Oh, yay. Han's spirit or vision is there. Who cares how or why it looks? It just looks neat. Oh, wow. Palpatine is summoning a lightning storm to take out some ships. Who cares how damn ridiculous that is? And still, despite that power, he will get defeated by Rey. Despite being able to summon a storm of lightning to take ships out with, Rey still defeats him because...
And she can't lift the rock.
Because mystery box. And oh yeah, Rey's parents weren't nobodies and died protecting her location. Who cares that the last movie said it didn't matter? Arguments from defenders saying that she learned it didn't matter where she came from. Now it suddenly matters. Despite J.J. Abrams saying that he loved Ryan's script and how subversive and surprising it was. How it changed everything. He changed it. He retconned everything that Ryan did, despite saying that he absolutely loved it in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Passion, consistency, and love make a story that bring thousands of people together. Aesthetic and simplicity is a product. Disney got exactly what they wanted, and I hope JJ is very proud of himself for creating a shiny little silver box that Disney can set on their shelf and say that they created something when they really just tore something apart. All
Participation award. Participation.
Yeah. You valued this. You valued what J.J. Abrams did so much, but this retcon is in place. Rey is a Palpatine, and that was one of the theories that was floating around for us prior to the release of The Last Jedi. A lot of people wanted her to be a Palpatine because they felt that would rhyme. And look, I would have never had an issue with her being a Palpatine if that's what you had done, but it wasn't what you did because you didn't have a narrative. You didn't have a story laid out. And now, JJ, you're going back in and you're retconning things. Stop claiming Disney, Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, everybody working over there. Stop claiming that you had this sorted out, that this was the plan from the get-go, because it is apparent to people on low functioning IQ levels that this is not the case. No one looks at a retcon that is as blatant as, oh, she's a Palpatine, and guys, her parents really did love her, and yeah, guys, they totally, they protected her with their life, even though that literally runs in contrast to the story, the very moral that you were telling us was what mattered from the last movie. Remember when they were running around doing all of their interviews and they were like, oh, guys, what's important here to take away is that she is important of her own accord, that you don't have to be born from a super powerful Force family, that you can find your place in the universe of your own will, of your own value, of your own. Remember that? Remember them running around saying that? This is a retcon. Your own retcon is in stark contrast to what you said.
And not to tease anything coming up, but my article, I cannot wait to just crap all over what they're saying basically about all of this, because we've got the words out of the creator of Palpatine's mouth and we know what he says about what is going on. And when we get to that article, it's gonna render all the other, directors, Michelle and Kathleen and the producers and just all of everybody mute because they're just talking out their ass.
Yeah.
They're talking out their ass because they don't know what else to say. They know they've created this awful. Midnight's Edge created a great video today about how they're talking about how basically they should be talking about how they have overcome the in terms of like franchises go. Star Wars should be taking the cake right now because it was competing against like Marvel Endgame and the ending of that franchise basically, and they're not talking about that. Basically, all the news articles right now surrounding it is how the fandom is ruining a movie. It's us.
Yeah, that's us.
And they're pointing the fingers at each other now about with past directors, Rian Johnson, and we've got actors even coming out pointing fingers at things too. And I find it hilarious. Oh, and CNN also we're going to be talking about also pointing fingers somewhere else. So it's a big old finger pointing shitstorm, and I'm loving that. But I can't wait for us to go over that other stuff a little bit later because, man, got some good stuff to dig into tonight.
Oh, yeah. And you can't look at, and then with this retconning here, we have them also saying Rey's a chosen one. How the hell is a Palpatine a chosen one?
Right? Right?
Really, right? The chosen one.
It's the hair.
Anakin's bullshit. Anakin stuff. His trials and tribulations from coming in and basically was it in Tatooine Ghost when Leia was making peace with her heritage and her Skywalker lineage. Han, she was like, she's saying I cannot be related to someone who turned into Darth Vader. And Han even told her, basically, do you think he would have been successful if he didn't turn into Vader? Because he had to get close and personal with him to figure things out. And that's in Tatooine's Ghost. So if you want to kind of like go into that perspective, even though that Anakin really wasn't doing that, just imagine getting close to the enemy and figuring things out and realizing and having your son come and redeem you. You have to be that close to get rid of that vileness of power that's plaguing the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, because otherwise, why does it matter? How could it get through to you? Ahsoka couldn't get through to him. And she was his apprentice. She was his Padawan. She couldn't look. But look, even if you just want to stick super close to the current canon, right? Even if that's what you're willing to work within, their own canon disrupts this stuff on a constant, regular basis because continuity seems to be beyond the reach of these people. And J.J. Abrams, I could not agree with Miss Moore, is a hack. He has no idea what he's doing. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and he's throwing whatever it is that he can against the wall. He's happy to retcon absolutely anything that he likes in order to make his story and his narrative flow. But he doesn't even know what his story or his own narrative is anymore. Because at this point, you can't make anyone happy. It's destroyed. And rather than what they should have done was made 2 movies. They should have made the episode 9 parts 1 and 2, and they could have taken their time. They could have taken their time with this, but instead they were determined because they just want to wash their hands of it, guys.
5 movies in 5 years.
No, I'm angry. I'm absolutely angry and absolutely hate J.J. Abrams because J.J. Abrams is a well-known director. He's directed so many different things, including the Star Trek movies. He doesn't deserve to be someone who's remembered for making a Star Wars movie or a Star Trek movie. People who aren't fans of Star Trek love his movie because they don't understand the lore and just the feelings that he destroyed when it came to watching Star Trek. Those characters and how they actually worked, how they actually were in the show. It's as if he didn't watch the show. J.J. Abrams destroys absolutely everything he touches because he has no idea how to write a story. He knows how to create a product. He knows how to create a shiny little box to give to everybody. And he knows how to explain away all the holes in his story by saying, mystery box, it's a mystery box. Everything's more exciting if you don't know. It's because he doesn't know. He has no idea what he is doing. He doesn't plan out his stories. He plans out scenes and puts them one by one next to each other and calls it a movie. He's an idiot. He's someone who built himself up by standing next to Spielberg and then just selling himself to people. He's a salesman. That is all he is. And he gets to make a Star Wars movie because of it. And I hate Hollywood and I hate all of this as it's happening. Star Wars is a world that I could escape to in a sense my reality was hard to be in. And Star Wars, and Star Trek and Doctor Who, and all of it is being destroyed because of all of these different factors of money and politics. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it, and I'm so angry.
That's what blows my mind about this is that they push this, oh, well, we're going to try to make this, and I know a lot of people have seen this article, we're going to make this more accessible to the general audience, right? But let's just get something real straight here, okay? Let's get something real clear. The general audience doesn't care about these products unless you have the hardcore fans pushing them to be released in the first place. There is no Star Wars. There is no Star Trek. There is no Doctor Who for the general audience to want, if not for those hardcore fans. You lose those hardcore fans and you have no properties to push, because after that, the general audience doesn't give a shit. It fades into obscurity. It's no longer pop culturally relevant for them to give a dick about. They don't care anymore.
I love when you say dick about.
Oh, say again.
They don't care. Okay. Why should they care? There's no longer a craze for it. Once they get done consuming their product, because I'm sorry, but general audiences are like locusts. They absorb it, they feed off of it, and then when they're done, they leave nothing behind. Nothing of substance, nothing of value. Real hardcore Star Wars fans of these franchises, they feed back into it because we're the ones that buy the merchandise. We're the ones that tell the stories. We're the ones that pass it on to our children. We are the reason there is a legacy to uphold. And for you to discard that and make it something for general audiences is your own doom. So have at it. Have fun. Because when it's over, you will have shot yourself in the foot. Congratulations.
What do you think about JJ, like in the past when he was like, we don't know what we're doing, and then also to even praising The Last Jedi, and now all of a sudden, bam, he's not praising it. So do you think this is a marketing ploy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, because you got to pass the buck somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. And they're all blaming, pointing fingers, like you said, they're blaming. They're like, I don't want responsibility for this hot mess we are creating. So you did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. And it's just validity.
Bringing in Ahsoka and bringing in Han is not, oh, let's bring them in because they're part of the story. We need them for the story. It's to bring in customers. That's all that's there for. He does not care about story. He cares about selling his product. That's all these leaks have told me. Every single one of them is just product after product.
Because it's a jumbled mess. It's a complete jumbled mess that doesn't even make any sense. So getting back to the leaks, do you want to do any super chats before we move on to Alora? Tom's dead.
Yeah, we have a couple we should probably get to here. Let's do them real quick. Let's see. Dr. Coffin Nails, $5. My brother, I think I'll probably see it just to see how it ends. Me, I have no brother. Ouch. In the words of E.T.
Nice.
Daryl Brewer sends us $5. Thank you so much. I'm with Rob and Tom. Well, thank you. I'll see it just to see how this train wreck ends, though I'm not sure I'll pay for it at the theater. Hey, if you pay for Jumanji and going to Star Wars, I don't think anybody's going to care. Most theaters, unless they have the assigned seating anymore, they just, whatever. I mean,
and even some with assigned seating. So I'm gonna put a little something out there. So I went to see Captain Marvel. I might have accidentally wound up in the wrong theater. I believe I bought a ticket for Dragons, but I wound up in an assigned theater. I was supposed to be full. Oh my god, it was.
I always end up moving at assigned theaters because I always get stuck by fucking teenagers.
Wait, you're saying it was supposed to be full, but nobody was in there?
What? It was interesting. It was so interesting.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, it was half empty. So
you should have documented the hell out of that. Damn it!
Absolutely took video of it. I do have a video up on my channel about it. So yes, you can actually go check that out. That yes, the theater was like half empty when it was all said and done. And yes, I have video of, hey, this was my ticket, and I don't know how I wound up in this theater. Let's just sit down and see what we see. And no one said a word, not a word, except for the guy who was sitting next to me and kept yapping, and I was like, go away. But
All right, we got one more super chat to catch up on. Heron Gaming News from Canada sends us $5. What do you think the media will say if this movie flops? Do you think they'll defend Disney again
Silence. Absolute
against
silence.
this? Well, we're gonna get into some of the media stuff here, aren't we, ladies? Here a little bit.
We're gonna blame it on fandom and other things that we'll definitely mention, but they already have the list ready, you guys, because this has been in the works. The media knows what's going on here. Don't be fooled. They are very aware. The direction of the coverage clearly indicates that, and they've been looking at responses of their coverage so far, and I guarantee you, they probably already have the articles ready.
And we got one right here coming in clutch. Nova Zero, Australian $5. Normies are joiners. Also, this was the plan. The original plan just always sucked. Yeah, that's right. I subverted your expectations. Well, here's what's funny about the normies in this one. In the area I live is a really rural area. It's not very big, and I've brought this story up on a few places, but it does bear, some kind of weight with this. They have a small theater nearby, and they gave people the choice between Jumanji and Star Wars for the weekend, for the holidays, because obviously they probably had to sign on for a whole month for Star Wars, I'm imagining. Because they just got done running Frozen 2, and it was like almost a month there. And that's the thing, is they don't run too many first-run movies. And by a landslide, the normies voted for Jumanji. So,
well, I mean, buying a ticket and then randomly finding yourself in the wrong theater would be insanely difficult for me, because I actually kind of want to see Jumanji.
you'll buy a ticket for Jumanji and actually accidentally walk into Jumanji.
The Rock makes that really hard for me to do too, miss.
I was gonna go see Star Wars, but Jumanji actually was good.
I actually don't like Dwayne Johnson, but it's the movie was good.
Yeah.
I used to watch him doing wrestling back in the day. And
The Rock.
Heathen. Oh my gosh, heathen. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and let Laura get into her leaks. Like I said, guys, these leaks are massive, and we're not even touching on half of these tonight. There's so much in here to get into. So we're going to pass it on to Laura. She's got a couple she's going to break down for us.
All right, this is OG Star Wars, your Legends girl. So let's cover some leaks here. I'm gonna go ahead and rearrange this. I'm gonna do Hux's first. So this is very interesting, and so I went and I like to compare contrast between the lores, but Hux is not a Legends person, so I just had to study his background here. So let's get into this leak here. All right, so here we go. After Hux rescues the heroes on the Star Destroyer, so basically he's rescuing heroes here. So what does that tell you? He tells Poe to shoot him in the arm, but Poe shoots him in the leg instead. All right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this here. When asking why he's helping them, Hux replies that he doesn't care if the First Order wins. He just wants Kylo to lose. So think about that. He's killed by pride when he reports the incident as it's too obvious what actually happened. So basically, what we're seeing here is Hux is said to be a mole. That's what we're getting at as well. But also, too, with Hux's background here. And so are we looking at retcon of Hux's character, overall lore, not keeping continuity? What do you guys think before I go on?
That's exactly what it is. They're now retconning Hux, who has been in this system for the entirety of his life, right? This is his whole world. And as much as they've already retconned him once, right? Because in The Force Awakens, I didn't care for The Force Awakens personally, but he was at least an intimidating character. And he was certainly invested in what it was doing. He was passionate about the First Order. I mean, you could see the fire in his eyes, right? Like they literally shot it with the red in his eyes and on his face as he's leading his troops over in at the end. Like it's incredibly reminiscent of Nazi Germany, right? Like this visuals is telling you so much about this character. And then they retcon him in The Last Jedi and he becomes this bumbling oaf. But we have no reason, even from The Last Jedi, to feel like he's backed away from his convictions, as it were. And so now you're telling me he's turned coat, and purely because of hatred for Kylo Ren, which I'm willing to grant he may hate the guy, but he's going to walk away from everything he has ever known and felt passionate for because he dislikes this one guy. That's what you're telling me?
Yes,
What?
and I'm gonna break down his character arc within the Disney Star Wars lore here. So, okay, so basically, he is the son of Commander Brendel Hux, and he was in the Arkhan's Academy, and his mother was a kitchen worker. So basically, his mother was a low end worker, the father a commander in the Empire. General Hux. There you go. And all right. And then after when the New Republic came into, I guess you could say power, basically they were rescued from the academy and they were taken to the unknown regions. And basically they're a part of the Imperial Navy. On top of that, Hux training, he basically trains the Navy, the Army. He forges a formidable military in the First Order, and he longs for the Star Killer base to be fired against the Republic. So does that explain to you the Hux that we're dealing with in here?
Mhm. Yeah, this is all this guy knows. But it's
So basically he is this manpower here, this leader, this military trainer, and so now we have to think that he is now trying to help out, the resistance, or does he still want to maintain power here?
Yeah. What does he expect to happen if Kylo Ren falls and the First Order falls? What does he expect to happen? Where is he gonna go? What's he going to do? Right?
Yeah.
Like where do you expect this isn't going to go the way you think? Now he's a complete and utter moron. Now the guy is a moron. He's leaving himself with no options, right? And I know why they did this. I know why they did it, because they needed a defector to get the plot moving forward, right? They needed someone. Well, let's use Hux. He's the only guy still hanging out, right? Because Phasma killed her 3 times.
Yeah.
They could have kept her. She badass. Yeah.
I wish they would have. I think she was a better character.
How many times do you have to kill Phasma for her to be dead, right? Like, so we can only run so many things into the ground.
No one's ever really gone, Mary.
No one's ever really gone.
I'll be surprised. She's going to make a cameo in there. Watch. She's going to make a cameo in there, and she's going to fight Poe again. Watch.
But you have nothing set up for this. You had no story prepared. You were not ready for this. So the only guy you got hanging around that's still left in the First Order to defect, as it were, is Hux. He's the only one you have. So despite the fact that it makes no sense within his character and anything that we've ever been shown, we're going to make him defect because, yeah, he didn't like Kylo Ren, guys. He didn't like Kylo.
Oh no, he didn't like him, and so he's trying to make Kylo look like looks like he wants to maintain power, Kylo out of the picture, but he's not even in a position because he was a bumbling fool in The Last Jedi. It's not convincing. There's nothing convincing in this to make me feel like this guy is able to go in there and do something about Kylo himself.
Yeah, it doesn't even make any damn sense, but it doesn't need to. Flashing lights.
No, it doesn't. It's just what they feel that they need on here. So let's move on to the next one here. And this one goes into basically Han's coming back as a full potential player in this here. All right. Let me get it real quick.
You get it up here.
Yeah, let me get it up here real quick, with my
get it up, Laura.
Get it up here. You gotta
That's
do a
my
little bit of
job.
Okay. This person. Okay, so Leia's final words to Ben. So I'm assuming that Leia is now in the process of leaving and becoming a Force ghost, because that's what's hinted about her. So her final words to Ben, which catches his attention, is that it was, and it distracts him as well, it distracts him long enough for Rey to stab him through the abdomen, and then she goes back and heals him. So basically, when Leia is dying, she says her last word, Ben. He catches it, gets distracted, and Rey stabs him and then heals him. And what's so disturbing about that for me is that when someone passes away in the Force, you feel them first. We've seen that in A New Hope. So why isn't Ben feeling her death, and why isn't Rey, the almighty Mary Sue Rey, not feeling her death in the Force, where they have to pause?
Well, she takes advantage of that moment too, as I understand it, right? Like our wonderful angelic Rey.
Yeah.
she murders him in that moment.
Well, because she's so good that doing that is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's so good that she doesn't have to pause and take respect for everybody dying in the Force.
And then she heals him.
Yeah, and then she goes back and heals him. Like,
I
oh,
might
shit,
kill
I made
you.
a mistake. I'm gonna
But I
kill
don't
you,
get
but then I'm gonna bring you back.
It's okay. No one's ever really gone.
Yeah, so it takes away from that whole moment of A New Hope in a sense, where when and then that also happened in within the Disney trilogy, anyways, is that when someone passes away, and I think they did that a little bit, Luke, if you guys can correct me with that, in The Last Jedi, because I did not see it because I refused to see it. But didn't she pause when Luke passed from the Force? Did it show it?
They both felt it.
Should I just point out something good with The Last Jedi?
Yes, but he left with peace and purpose, right? So they
Mhm.
both felt it. They both felt him leave. So there's no real reason for her to not feel that in that moment. But Ben is the only one who grieves it, even though, as we understand from the leaks later, she goes to bury Leia and Luke's. God, Leia has a lightsaber. Help me, Lord. Bury their lightsabers in Tatooine and out near. Now, I don't understand why she buries Leia's lightsaber out on Tatooine.
No.
I don't understand why she does that, but she goes to bury it there, and then she calls herself Rey Skywalker as she looks on at the Force ghosts of her surrogate parents, right?
Mhm.
But she couldn't pause for a moment for her death, and then decides to go ahead and use it instead to murder her son.
Yeah, I understand Aldera's gone, but there's also Naboo. I mean, bring back some. I don't mind them revisiting worlds that have already been established, because that's the galaxy. That's and stuff, but rehashing other things, it's kind of like repetitive. Why don't she take her to Naboo? Why don't they, I mean, there's so many different scenarios you could do of this. Why Tatooine? She never really had any association. All we know is that she did not make peace with her father. So why take her to Tatooine in the Disney trilogy?
There's no reason. You know why she took and buried Leia's lightsaber on Tatooine? Why she's going to do that? I'll tell you why she's going to do that. So that Rey can stand there and watch the double suns. That's why. That's
something taken away from Luke. They're taking that away from Luke. It used to be Luke's moment, and that was a mighty powerful image. I would just stop and pause and just let it be, and just watch it and rewind it again, because it was such a pivotal moment of his wanting to change and his adventure and what's coming for him.
It's been poached. It's been poached and taken from Luke. It now belongs to Rey, along with Luke Skywalker, along with Luke's lightsaber, which he decided to chuck over his shoulder for no real reason that we can fully understand, because they've still never explained that. They've still never thoroughly explained that to us, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's take every wonderful, beautiful quality that was ever bestowed upon Luke Skywalker and hand it to Rey because my vagina. Let's do
and just turn it. Basically, I guess implying he's just become a senile, grumpy old man.
I'm
so mad.
Yep.
In these leaks, it also has Luke coming back when Rey tosses his lightsaber into the burning tie on R2, and she tosses it in. Luke appears, and this is the leak that now they're not saying that he's going to be there anymore, but just think about this for a minute. Luke catches it and tells her that this is worth more than anything. Don't toss it, basically. So don't toss something that's worth something. But we see him in The Last Jedi going, flump.
And that's, I don't know. I don't even really know that I understand the meaning behind that. Is that JJ taking shots at Rian Johnson? Is that what that is? Is he taking shots at that? Or are we meant to believe that this is a lesson learned? That this is a moment where Luke has learned his lesson, that you don't toss your lightsaber that means so much to you over your shoulder. Because look, that lesson would have had to have been learned in life, right? Because you can force ghost. You're dead now. You're gone.
Yeah.
You force Skyped yourself to death, so you're dead now, Luke, right? So this is a lesson that he would have learned prior to his death. Well, then why didn't you show the hell up in person on that planet? Why didn't you pull a Rey and lift your little X-Wing out of the water and get in the ship and go where you needed to go and handle the fight yourself, instead of force Skyping yourself to death on a planet for no damn reason. Why are you not still alive, Luke? Why are you not still alive? I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now. This doesn't even make any damn sense. I don't know.
That saber.
What are we supposed to take from this? Luke Skywalker learned his lesson? Is that what this is? Or are you taking shots at Rian Johnson? Personally, I think it's him taking shots at Rian Johnson because I don't believe that J.J. Abrams gives enough of a damn about The Last Jedi to try to make those lessons, to give us lessons from it, right? I don't believe that he gives enough of a damn about Luke Skywalker because he certainly didn't make sure that we had our trio together. He killed Han before we could get our trio together. I don't believe he gives enough of a damn about Luke Skywalker to try to redeem his character at all. I don't believe that. I think you're taking shots at Rian Johnson because you could. You pathetic people. You're supposed to be working together to give us a valid, wonderful, good trilogy, something that the fans would love. And instead you're pointing fingers and giving us garbage. What are you doing?
They're ending Star Wars. That's what they're doing. To make it simple.
I was going to just mention that too, and he's thinking the same thing. So basically now, Force Ghosts can, do lightning, manipulate the environment, and now can catch things, interact with the physical world. And with Luke's saber, on top of that, Rey has no, and I'm still going to say this now, even though it was given to her, basically, she has no reason for her to have the Skywalker saber. There was no significance. Whatever JJ left in the Force Awakens as to hint her lineage and possibly who she really is with that Force vision with the saber is out the door. So there's no reason for Luke to even catch it and say, you know what, we need to, stop tossing things.
Luke just angrily goes, "Stop throwing shit."
I can do it, but you better
Get
not.
off my
Get
lawn.
off my sand.
Yes.
I admit it. I stole that from the chat. Sue me.
That was wonderful. No, I agree. Stop throwing shit. Not gonna get it.
I can only throw it.
Like, go down this hill and grab it out of there, you jackhole.
And then now let's go to the stabbing part of Rey. Okay, not of her. I wish she would have got stabbed, but never mind. But
instead of rock falls on her. Instead of rock falls on her.
That would be beautiful. But so she stabs Kylo. And then I have to think about, because reading through the leaks, there's other little scenarios, but even looking at her through this whole trilogy, she has a lot of anger issues when she's using the Force, but yet she's still light side.
Yeah, we don't know, but she can do that. That's cool because she knows.
Yeah, very Sue.
I think I would really, really like the movie if they had Rose randomly go, "But we shouldn't fight what we hate. We should save what we love." And then someone fucking
running by the scene saying that.
I want someone to shoot her when she starts to say that. That would make me instantly love the movie.
We need Ivan Ortega to do a re-edit of everybody just shooting Rey, shooting Rose.
That would be a fun Hunters game right there. It's like, her running by.
Y'all are some savage women tonight. Damn.
Well, speaking of Rose, these leaks, all they say that she's there for is to give motivational speeches.
Dude, I want this. Okay, I want a Duck Hunt version of that dog. It's like doop, and he comes up with like the heads of Rose and Rey. And just keep shooting. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I would so play that with you too. That would be hilarious.
And he just pops up with a doop. And you don't shoot him. He laughs at you and he's like, oh, and you're like, that dog, that dog. Sorry.
Everybody has tried shooting that dog.
Okay. All right. So let me look at this real quick. All right, I think I touched all the bases on what I want to discuss in here. Oh, and the Force healing too. So we already touched. We touched a little bit on. We touched it on the healing and how she decides to kill him and then heal him for what, a sake of a kiss. So when did that kiss happen?
We're not
Do you
sure.
have an idea?
we're not like, so the kiss happens at the end, apparently, whenever she dies, and then Kylo Ren brings her back to life, but he gives his own life force in the process. So we're assuming that the kiss takes place between when he kisses or when he brings her back to life, giving his own, and before he actually dies, because otherwise there's more necrophilia, right? So we're assuming, I mean, because then otherwise it's just Rey kissing Kylo Ren's dead body. And again, bad touch territory, #MeToo,
So I heal you, you heal me, and I get a kiss in the end, basically.
Yeah. Everybody heals everybody. You gotta die, but we're gonna bring you back to life. You gotta die.
But no one. Yeah. Okay, so that goes with the leak with Leia and Ben and Rey and Hux. So you guys want to expand a little bit more on that before we move on?
On what exactly?
I said that's it with the Leia and Ben and Rey scene when she's dying, and then Hux.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Rey just, stabby stabs Kylo Ren and then feels bad about it and is like, whoops, come back to life.
No take backsies.
Well, we found out that Hux is actually 3 different people.
What?
He's like triplets, all named Hux. That would make sense.
Because I think there's so many different takes on Hux, even in this leaks here. It's like you don't even know which is what the hell's going on with him.
This is after towards the end, 2 different Hux shows up, and there was like, oh, we were triplets.
And Tico runs by.
Oh my god, Hux is the dog that comes up in the duck hunt game with the I'm sorry.
That was funny. I had to.
So Snoke's nobody, right?
He's nobody.
He's still nobody?
He's nobody. He's just a Palpatine's puppet, basically, because Palpatine basically controlled everybody.
Explains nothing.
No.
Explains absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Box.
I don't understand why he didn't just reanimate Vader's corpse, since that's what we're doing now, and have him run around and handle everything.
Just this fucking burnt suit. Walking around.
No, they can clearly explode bodies and they can be fine. Why can't we just get the burnt skeleton of Vader, chuck it in and have that handle?
He has to do "Hello, my honey."
Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling.
with the top hat, being like,
His helmet.
His helmet and a lightsaber.
He's swinging it like a debonair guy, with like a cane.
Crispy black corpse doing "Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby."
Yeah. So the Rise of Skywalker, you guys, it's going to be the #1 holiday film this, or number 1 comedy film this holiday season. Yes.
We're fixing it, guys. We're fixing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm on board. I'm so on board for this.
I'll tell you this one thing. The leaks have made me want to see the movie. Before I was sort of on the fence, and now I've completely hopped over the fence to the other side, and I have got my giggles ready to go, because I'm sure I will have plenty for all of these lovely leaks and more. So looking forward to it now.
do we want to get to a few of these super chats before we get into Candace? Or do you have
let's do it. I think Tom, are you back? So we might, we might want to move on, and then when Tom returns, we can do the super chats then.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hand it off to Candace. She's got our final leaks to discuss for the night.
I do. And you guys, since the Force is just so female, when it comes to voices in our wonderful protagonist's head, who should we see? Should we see Luke and I mean, Luke would probably be the one that would be the one to come to mind, but no. We have many voices, and one of the voices, of course, happens to be female. But she's never met her, but we're just going to throw her into the mix anyway. Yes, Ahsoka Tano is now one of the ones that is rumored to be in this movie via voice. And I'm curious, after this, we could talk about who we might think that voice just might be. So I'm going to just read a little snippet of this article to kind of go over the context in which we are going to hear her voice. And then I also want to talk about a certain director, J.J. Abrams, sort of teasing it as well. So yeah, brand new Star Wars. I got this from Bounding into Comics, a great site, you guys. If you're not on that site often, you need to be. They've got some good articles there. Yes. So a brand new Star Wars Rise of Skywalker rumor details that Ahsoka Tano will be making an appearance in the film. The rumor comes from Jedi Paxis on Reddit's lengthy story summary for the whole film. Paxis details that Tano will be appearing in the film in voice only. It will be in a scene that is heavily influenced by Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, because yeah, that seems to be very relevant. Yeah, so after Palpatine returns to full power by siphoning the power of Rey and Kylo Ren vis-a-vis the Sanderson sisters, he sends Ren flying down an abyss, never to be seen again. Meanwhile, Rey is knocked back, lying on the ground. As Palpatine pontificates about how Rey will join him, she begins to reach out to the Force for help. The Force responds, and she hears the voices of Ahsoka Tano, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Leia. No Luke. Okay. Paxis does indicate it's possible there could be other voices as well. So maybe Luke? I don't know.
In the previous leaks, it does say like Luke and Yoda and Mace Windu and Leia and things like that.
You could toss a few Ewoks in there too. Leia! You know, why not? It's just at this point, who isn't a Force ghost? So basically, yeah, Rey's empowered by the Force and takes the fight to the Emperor, wielding Anakin and Leia's lightsabers as the Emperor attempts to destroy her with his Force lightning. So that's essentially what the scene kind of entails. But then we've got J.J. Abrams kind of giving more credibility to this leak, saying in a recent interview, he was asked, it was with the Japanese outlet Sora News. Abrams did the standard press junket interview, promoting one of the biggest franchise films ever made and all that normal routine stuff. And the interviewer asked Abrams who his favorite Star Wars character was. He says, Han Solo is Abrams' not terribly surprising answer. Then he threw the question back. Who's the interviewer's favorite? The interviewer responds, Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker's apprentice and prominent non-Jedi Force user in Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. To which Abrams replied, Ahsoka Tano, huh? Well, then you'll probably want to watch closely during the Rise of Skywalker. So he's throwing all the crumbs out there to try to get everybody to come see it. And, if it is voice only, it's just a shame that they're bringing her into this mess, because she is a fantastic character. One of my favorite females in the entire Star Wars, just everything, because I loved Clone Wars. I loved her storyline in Clone Wars, and I loved how it gave us a different perspective of Anakin with it. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this? Mary, you wanna take it from here?
What blows my mind about this? Let's take Rey, right? Let's go ahead and take her, because she hasn't poached every relationship ever that ever meant to anything to anybody, right? And made those all her own, right? Now we got to give her Ahsoka Tano. And as I read the leak and I understand it, are so many voices that come to her in that moment, right? Like she finds the strength to pull her saber up to her, and she makes the X formation, and that's the moment that she uses the strength that she gathers from everyone, encouraging her to deflect the Force lightning back at him, and he explodes again, right? So this is the moment where Rey takes from everyone, right? You can't just have her jacket from Luke. Sorry. You can't just have her take stuff from Luke, from Leia, from the main original trilogy characters. Oh no. Now we got to suck everybody into this, because Rey needs all the help she can get. First time ever she's needed help. But yes, they recognize that Rey does need help, not because you've ever given us a reason to believe she was fallible within these movies, but because you are well aware, Disney Lucasfilm, you are well aware that we don't give a rat's ass about Rey, Palpatine, Skywalker, whatever the frack you're trying to call her now. We don't care about her. So let's show you that everybody else cares about her, and you should too.
Do you think
Everyone-
we just wanted equal representation in the voices of her head? They just
You know,
decided we need to toss another female in there, and who better than Ahsoka Tano?
oh yeah, you like Ahsoka, guys, right? You like Ahsoka? Well, Ahsoka likes Rey. Ahsoka likes Rey, guys, and so you should too. It could be equal representation. I tend to think it's probably more along the lines of they recognize that we don't care about this character. So maybe if they shove more people into this situation, but you like this one, right? You like this one? Well, they like her. So by extension, you should too. Let's all give Rey all of the support and love from everyone because she is, in fact, a Mary Sue. Everyone loves her. Everyone loves her without cause. They just love her. And so should you.
Well, not lately. She had a little bit of backlash lately, but yeah. She opened her mouth and the wrong things came out. So
I
yeah.
hope the Jedi Force Ghosts have a little conversation in her head, like, shit, Obi-Wan, it's been a long time. Hey, Mace Windu. How you doing, man?
They all get together and have tea. They're hanging out with Rey.
Wait a second.
Hey, while you're there, Force Ghosts cheering Rey on, while you're all there, giving her a bunch of love and support. Maybe since you can do real world stuff within the world, you know, like shoot trees with lightning, maybe you can keep the rocks from falling on her head. I'm just saying. You're all hanging out. You're all doing shit. Maybe you could be useful.
Luke
that he's there.
Luke couldn't even pick up a few crummy rocks at the same time, but Rey can do all kinds of sorts of shit. Let's catch up on some of these super chats here before we get any farther into the discussion, because this is some deep shit. Yeah, welcome back. Rivers727 sent $5. He's going to try and get it revoked because he doesn't quite have the money. I sent him a message saying, if you can't, let me know. I'll try and get you the money via PayPal tomorrow if they don't work with you. But yeah, we have no control over that. You're going to have to go through Google or YouTube. I tried to even find it myself, so no luck there. His message, though, I've read the leaks and still the movie can be good. I remember reading the Joker leaks and thought the movie was going to be bad, and then I was wrong. Yeah, the Joker was one of those rare exceptions where it just happened to work out. And I've had these rare notions in my head, like, wow, what if this is really better than we expect it to be? But there's just no way with these leaks. There's no way you can make them good. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I don't know.
We're not suggesting what you should or shouldn't enjoy.
Oh yeah.
No one here is telling you what you can and can't enjoy. We're expressing our frustration, our concerns because every female that you see here, you know, we'll put a wig on Tom and include him. We all have serious issues with Disney Star Wars, and with the leaks that we're seeing, we don't see how this can end well, right? We don't see that. But we are not in any way suggesting that you can't love this movie if you want to, because that is absolutely your right. So.
And all I'm saying,
looking at the continuity too, as well. You know, the Joker can itself be a standalone movie, and this kind of evolved his character a little bit more. But when you look at the overall continuity with the Disney trilogy and the 6 movies, that's not too coherent, and I think that's where a lot of fans have the trouble with. Mm-hmm. You know, especially the ones that are willing to try to love Disney Star Wars and love the movies, may not have expanded into the expanded universe, and so they're seeing these little inconsistencies going on. Why is Luke being treated the way he is being treated? You don't need the expanded universe to tell you that his character was shitted on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you don't need none of that. You just look at the 6 movies. So that's a huge difference. Why? So when we look at these leaks that are like coming into fruition just by looking at the TV spots and the trailers, you could see a lot of these leaks in those trailers. Mind you, I've heard someone say, well, the trailers and the spoilers are the TV spots are supposed to be misleading. No, it's not, because if it's misleading, why are they doing this to get people hyped to go see the movie? Like Rogue One, they still had similar scenes. They may not have used those scenes in the movie, but we still got a great idea of what was going on. And so when you look at this, and the reason why we are pissed, mind you, myself, I get a little bit more into expanded universe and stuff, but I'm just looking at this at the movie perspective. It's because it does not make any making sense whatsoever. And they're telling us that we need to care. But why should we care when we see our main protagonist, Luke Skywalker, shitted on? And then telling us that we must now love him for the way he is now. That's bullshit.
Well, they're not only shitting on our main protagonist that we've always loved, they're also shitting on one of our favorite villains we always enjoyed too. So
everything original they're shitting on, and then they're going to bring Ahsoka in to bow down to the queen, and she's a beloved character, and she's a quasi-canon character where she can fit into Legends as well as fit into the new Disney canon because of the time frame she came out as. Yeah. And so now they're going to bring her down here, you know, and she was a badass character, and now she's going to be whispered into Rey's head because of reasons.
Well, and any way you take this, any way that you take this, this comes off as training wheels for Rey, right? Training wheels that you shouldn't have needed for the final episode in this entire saga. You should not have needed to put everyone there holding her up. Because at this point, look, did Luke need the training wheels of Ben and of Yoda and of Obi-Wan, or in the first movie and in the second movie, or sorry, in A New Hope and in Empire Strikes Back? Did he need that? Yes, but at the end, nobody goes before Vader and Palpatine but Luke. Luke has to handle that on his own because it's his own moment of triumph. That's where he stands victorious, where he makes the right decisions. And instead, what you're showing us with Rey is that she can't do this on her own. So now you've backtracked to the point where not because she couldn't do it on her own, but because you know that we don't buy it. We don't buy her. We don't care about her. So at this point, let's bring everybody back in together. It's like a big old montage. This is meant to touch the feels. This doesn't complete a story arc for Rey. This is meant to touch you, the consumer, in the feels. This isn't about Rey. This is about...
They need to ask my permission first.
Yeah, me too, right? Quit touching me without my permission.
Agreed. But no, like, stop touching me. Stop touching me there. That's my no-no box. That is my no-no box.
No square, Mary. No square.
Yes, my no-no square. My bad. But no, like, that's how this is coming across here. Is really, it's really bizarre, right? Because in this moment, you should be having Rey stand triumphant in her own right as a Jedi, and found her place, right? And instead, what you're doing is bringing everybody back like a freaking welcome back Cotter moment, right? Like, welcome back. Everybody's all coming together, and we're all excited because we see everybody. But this is bizarre. It's like fourth wall breaking in a weird way, right? You're not doing this for the story. You're doing this for us. It doesn't make sense otherwise in terms of the story arc of a character. Oh, but wait, she hasn't had any story arc because you never bothered to give her that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Well, if I may divert this conversation just slightly back to shitting on villains in addition to the protagonists, I'd like to talk a little bit about our Sith Lord, Mr. Palpatine, or should I say Frankenpalps? Because I feel like that's more relevant for him at this point. I
like Frankenpalps. They have marshmallows.
Yeah, right. Lovely. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. Okay, so you can always catch me off guard. Now, like, my mind is just fried.
That's all right. Sorry about that. My bad.
It's a goober.
I have like a setting here when I'm ready to dive into something. You just cut it off. All right, I'm moving into this now. Okay, so shh. All right. So my leak about Frankenpalps. Okay, you guys. There's a lot of questions about how can Frankenpalps come back in this way. I mean, how is it going to look like? How can he move around and all this kind of that? Well, they have an answer. Basically, they said it is pretty ambiguous. He's not really alive. It's pretty horrific in that he is basically a corpse puppet on some sort of rigging. But he's able to speak through the body via his spirit. He's also all the souls, and this is all in quotes, of the past Sith. In the body. Eventually, he manages to restore life to the body, though. And I can't recall if they directly mentioned how the body was still intact, but it was a sort of horror mad scientist lab thing, so it might not be his original. So you guys, he's not just Emperor Palpatine. He's Emperor Palpatine plus, like Disney plus. He's Emperor Palpatine plus at this point. So what do you think about that? Isn't that interesting?
So here's my thing about this whole him being alive. And look, this has been talked about to some extent. I've seen other people touch on it. But I don't understand why they thought that this was okay. Why do you think that bringing back, and I've heard Kathleen Kennedy say it's because Emperor Palpatine is within the DNA of Star Wars, right? He's in the DNA of Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I have that. That's next.
How could we move forward without Emperor Palpatine in the story? Well, never mind that you had a perfectly good antagonist in Snoke that you could and should have moved forward with, but you let Rian Johnson destroy that. Never mind that. But the sacrifice made by Anakin Skywalker, not Darth Vader, because Anakin Skywalker was the one who made that sacrifice. When he was redeemed by his son, Luke Skywalker, that sacrifice is null and void because you don't understand Star Wars. The man came back to the light because his son stared death in the face in order to save him. And that sacrifice means nothing now because once again, you have poached it. You have brought Palps back. You've resurrected him because you wanted Rey to be your heroine. And nothing else, despite the fact that it's the only reason you exist, sequel trilogy, nothing else that came before matters. None of that means anything to you because you have no respect for this story, no respect for this galaxy that you stepped into. It's gone. You subverted it. I hope you're proud.
I love it when you talk like that, Mary. It gives me all the right feels inside. Just had to say that. Yeah. So, Miss, what is your take on that? I saw you figuratively blowing your brains out. So perhaps that might give me an indication. Yeah. What do you think?
That's the same old story. The lack of originality, the inability to create a new villain or continue the story in a way where it's an actually original story. Instead, they steal and they mess things up so they don't make sense. But no, it does make sense because mystery box. I still blame this on JJ. I'm sorry. This is all JJ's idiot. I can't word him being an idiot. And it frustrates me. It frustrates me to no end. All of these leaks just don't make sense at all, which honestly makes sense because it's JJ. Mm-hmm. Fucking Palpatine on a stick at the end of a stick being moved around. Dead corpse puppet Palpatine. You know, like the force moving his jaw up and down so it looks like he's talking. Just sad. It's sad. It's a desperate attempt at making a villain. And honestly, I've been saying this ever since The Last Jedi came out. I wish they had revealed that Snoke was a puppet of some form, but was the master of another Jedi, and Snoke was supposed to die. And this other Sith was supposed to come out of the corner and be like, actually, I'm Snoke. That was Plagueis. He was training me, and that was a test, Kylo, and you failed. I wanted that to be what happened. But no, Snoke's absolutely no one, and Palpatine's back. How stupid and unoriginal that is, and how insulting that is to the entire Star Wars universe and fans. It's just sad.
Well, go ahead. Yep. I'm sorry. No. Because I know I spoke about it already, and I'm trying not to be pissed over here. And I'm sure Laura has something she can legitimately add here.
Yes, and I hope you guys can hear me good. And on top of that, Trevorrow even said that Palpatine wasn't back, that it wasn't in his script. So that shows that this was that basically was added to bring us back into the movie because they feel that we wanted to see Palpatine. And if you look at the Legends portion where Palpatine comes back, he doesn't come back in his full body. It's a basically his Force essence transferred into a body of a clone of him. So we don't exactly get the Palpatine that they're bringing back. We don't give him back in his original form, which expands on Darth Plagueis novel where they're trying to figure out how to be immortal.
Mhm. Well,
And so there's a lot more validity to that in that sense, but that still was something that kind of split the fans in the EU when it came to Palpatine. And in Dark Empire, in the end, it was basically Luke and Leia working together to get rid of his Force essence.
Well, and look, I don't think any of us would have had a problem with there being some kind of bringing back. I'm sure there would have been problems with it, with bringing potentially Palpatine back into the story. But when you're talking about bringing his body back, right? You're talking about him being the orchestrator of this entire event. He never went away. He was always there. The exploding of his body was merely a setback, people. A minor hiccup in the overall scheme.
Yeah. And if we were going to go Harry Potter route, personally, I would prefer to see a little weird looking baby Palp turning into full-blooded Palp 2.0 instead of this spirit Palp into it. I would have loved that. What do y'all think?
We had Baby Yoda and Baby Palp fighting each other.
Baby Palpy.
Baby Palp would be amazing.
Baby Palpy.
I need to get a picture. I need to make something of that and meme it. It'd be great.
Shooting all Force lightning, baby Palpy. We got a few more super chats to catch up. We got diverted. Rich A sent us $2. No one's ever really gone except for Luke. Why? That's a good question.
No one is
He got in the way.
gone.
But he's even back in this, and it doesn't really specify. I think it doesn't even really say if he's a Force ghost or not. But I'm just assuming he is.
You all know how much I hate it.
Or does
when
it
people
say
bring
it?
people back from the dead.
I don't remember.
But his body disappeared, so maybe he really is gone.
Fuck Ryan Johnson. J Money J 499. Love you, ladies. You're beautiful and passionate about the franchise, and I appreciate it. Yes, the ladies of the Fandom Menace are very passionate about this, and that's why they're here. But you know they don't fit the narrative, so don't talk about them.
We're just figments of their imagination, and okay, we're fine with that.
We Russian
right.
box. We Russian box. guys.
You know we're real. You guys know
Actually,
we're
I'm
real.
a puppet for an evil empress.
A meat puppet?
I'm a nobody that's just being puppeted by an evil empress.
I just do voices. That's all. This is CNN.
Somebody's gonna kill me, and it's gonna mean nothing.
Okay, we got one from John Hamster. $5. Original Star Wars was lightning in a bottle. Disney Star Wars is poop in a shoebox. That's a pretty good analogy there. Yeah. Nobody has anything to say to that. Okay, Matt G, $5. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Says every Fandom Menacer in the parking lot before they see episode 9. That is very, very true, and I'm not surprised if a lot of people aren't. I'm sure you gals will be too. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I can do it. Look at my chesticles. Demogeny, our good friends. I hope I said that right. $2. This weapon is your life, Obi-Wan told Annie in episode 2. Yeah, and that's why JJ has to retcon what Ryan did in The Last Jedi here with the whole, you shouldn't throw this. You know that's just a... This whole movie is a comment to The Last Jedi. And I know I'm kind of getting in a little back and forth with a few people in the chat about the whole JJ didn't have a plan, and I really wish my fellow YouTubers would quit pushing this narrative that there wasn't a plan, because Simon Pegg and Daisy Ridley have confirmed that there was a plan, and Ryan threw it out. JJ even kind of alludes to that in one of his latest interviews with John Travers. Is that who it was?
Well, Palpatine wasn't the plan, though.
That part, no. And that wasn't in the original plan, and that's why Trevorrow left, because Luke was still supposed to be alive. And like Daisy Ridley and Simon Pegg both said separately that they knew who Rey's parents were. JJ had already figured that part out, but left it for somebody else to pick up in another movie. So what I'm assuming is JJ just had like a loose kind of probably 2 or 3 page just idea of what was supposed to happen from there on out, and everybody else could fill in the blanks.
And there's no way.
Oh, Mad Libs. Is that what you're saying? Tell
Yeah,
me.
either way, it's still Mad Libs, but I'm not saying it would have been better, but I'm just saying there was this whole back and forth of whether or not there was a plan. Of course, there was a plan. No, it wasn't completely written out.
You
No, it
have
wasn't completely
producers
planned
saying
out, but
they're making the producers making the marketing tours right now are certainly all in on it having been a plan all along.
just the Palpatine part. But when it came to Ryan Johnson fucking up the movie, their whole mantra was, "Oh, there wasn't a plan."
Yeah, well, I think whatever the plan was, and we'll never know for sure exactly what it may have been. I don't know that it was necessarily a full. Obviously, it wasn't written all the way out. There may have
No, but there was things set up to where they knew where it was supposed to go in an overall arc.
Is if you're willing to have your plan
Right.
thrown out the window for a subverting of the expectations,
And that's what they did, yeah.
then you didn't really have a plan because you were content to run with whatever this joker over here decides to throw at you because you weren't committed to that.
And that's my point. People need to word it correctly, was that they let asshole do what he wanted. And that's why we got the fucking Last Jedi. That's my point.
Well, in the quote from Michelle Rejwan from the Gizmodo UK article that came out last week, she specifically was asked about this, her and KK, and she said, I think there was a feeling of inevitability that Palpatine had been there, a part of all 3, and in the biggest picture of 9 movies, he's been there from the very beginning. His presence in this movie will not spoil that, but when you see it, it does feel to us, not only does it have the feeling of inevitability, but the ending of where we left him last in The Return of the Jedi was very important to JJ and Chris, to all of us.
And for
We
everybody's
discussed it in great length.
That's what I'm saying. For everybody screaming at me in the chat, they did have a fucking plan, but they let Ryan Johnson throw out that plan. That's why Trevorrow said, "Fuck you," and double flipped him as he walked out the door. Because Luke Skywalker was supposed to be dead at the end of the second movie. Or alive, not dead. It's because he was supposed to have Luke Skywalker as a major character in the 3rd film. That's why he got pissed. And that's why he left. That he's even said that. So that's enough of a plan to me that they let Ryan Johnson throw out what little semblance of a plan there was just to do his subversion of expectations and tell you that your Snoke theory sucks by making him a nobody, by telling you your Rey theory sucks by making her a nobody, and basically ending any fucking storyline there was in the movie to go beyond the second film in that second movie because there's nowhere to go. We've all said this. We've all agreed with that. He ended the movie in the second movie. There's nowhere to go with this story.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, that's where JJ has to come in. And most of this movie, everything we're talking about in these leaks, is to fix The Last Jedi. Everything.
And it doesn't make sense, which is sad.
This movie became nothing more than damage control at this point. That's all this is. You had to end it and you didn't know how. So because you had no idea what to do with the shattered remnants of this trilogy that Ryan Johnson left you, that you let him shatter. Because please believe me, Ryan Johnson could never have done what he did if he hadn't been allowed to do so by Kathleen Kennedy. So these shattered remnants that you have, nothing left to pick up, no pieces to really put back together. At this point, this is just your damage control because it's all you have left because there's nothing left even resembling a story after what you allowed Ryan Johnson to do to this trilogy. There's nothing left.
So real quick, just to sort of end the thing with Palpatine, there was an article that just came out, and I'm just going to toss this sort of in because I know we're kind of short on time, and this is very important. Ian McDiarmid, the creator of Palpatine, recalls a quote, basically, that he spoke directly with George Lucas, and this was after George sold the story and everything to Disney. Okay, that was in 2012. This conversation was in 2013. All right, he said right here. He said, "I remember saying, 'Is he dead, George?' at the time, and he said, 'Yes, he is absolutely dead. That seems to be about as official as you can get right there. So he just like stepped on all the balls of everybody talking about, oh, we had to plan all along to have him alive. It was inevitable. So I just wanted to put that out there because I found it quite ironic to see this pop up right away to kind of squash that and give us a better idea of what George was really thinking.
Do you remember JJ's interviews in the beginning, like when they announced the Rise of Skywalker's name, and they were talking about basically planning everything out, and they said, we don't know what Rise of Skywalker means. We have no plan for that. And basically in the past saying they didn't have any plans for the trilogy.
Mhm.
And so now they're going back and changing the words and saying they do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense.
No, well, none of this has made any sense.
None.
They think we're stupid. They honestly believe that we're stupid. And I think this all boils down to two things. I think this all boils down to two things. Kathleen Kennedy, first of all, that she fundamentally does not understand Star Wars, right? She doesn't understand Star Wars or the fans, right? They think we're stupid. They think we're motivated by nostalgia. They think that is all that it took in order to bring us back to this stuff. That's all you need, right? Just stir in a little nostalgia, like a sprinkling of love. It will bring everyone running to the kitchen for their piping hot muffins, right? Never mind that you literally have shit in the middle of your muffin and it's disgusting and we can all smell that too, right? So you sprinkle a little nostalgia in, and then second of all, that she's happy to use that nostalgia, right? And so this boils down to that she fundamentally doesn't understand Star Wars and the fans, and she also is happy to use nostalgia to manipulate and bring back the audience that she knows she lost, that Lucasfilm knows is gone because we can't. They think we're stupid. They think we're dumb, that we can't keep up with what you've said from one day to the next, right? But interestingly enough, we can, because we're invested in this franchise, because we love these characters. So yes, we are paying attention, even if you're not paying attention to your own words. We are.
I love that Phil Bird just said it perfectly. They sacrificed nostalgia for a new Disney princess. Deep. That's what it feels like.
They sacrificed nostalgia for a new Disney. I'm not sure I understand.
Well, just to raise up Rey in such a way where she's just this new the new Disney, the new Disney woman. I like the sentiment behind that comment.
They sacrificed what we're nostalgic over in order to raise up a new Disney princess.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, that's what blows my mind, is that you were so determined that Rey be the end all be all of everything, that you sacrificed everything for her. But the interesting thing is that you can't do that. You may own the rights to Lucasfilm. You may own the rights to Star Wars, but Disney fans but Star Wars fans, we won't forget. We know what we loved initially. Mm-hmm. We won't forget that stuff. You can't make us. And you know what else you can't make us do? Pay for your shitty movie.
Nope. Yar. You can find us elsewhere.
We got one more super chat or two to catch up here with Anabod, $5, best live stream in history, and put Kylo in the gold bikini. Well, his mom did wear it well.
Yes.
So. No. My chesticles will fill
like
it
mother
out.
like son.
How did two beautiful people bring that thing into this world? How?
As long as he wears a helmet.
You don't like my chesticles? You want me to put on a shirt?
I want you to put on a burlap sack.
No, that's Rose Tico's outfit.
Shout out to Star Wars for Life. Ruthie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ruthie, how you doing? Silver99 sent us $2. Was hoping Snoke was Tarkin. They look alike. I kind of get what you're saying there. I figure Snoke is like a reincarnation of Plagueis anyway.
Yeah, he's just really gaunt in the face, I guess.
Well, because like if you go with the meat puppet version of the leak, then it's all the famous Force spirits of all the bad guys. So maybe Snoke is just Plagueis pretending to be somebody else. You know, I was thinking, because who the hell is Snoke then?
Nobody.
He's still really
Exactly.
It's about nobodies. It's about nobodies. You know,
That's
and then
my point.
Tarkin too.
Yeah.
He can't have no kids because in Disney canon he is gay. Tarkin
And the
is
only
gay
thing
in
I
Disney
can get
time.
out of and the only thing I can get out of
Enough.
JJ as far as Snoke goes is he basically, you can tell he got the name from smoke and just changed one word because he keeps referring to Leia smelling Snoke from a mile away. So this is how JJ fucking thinks. Wayfinder, come on, give me a break here, people.
Wayfinder.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Jedi saying "Hasta la vista, baby" to Disney. I can do better than that.
Yes,
I
please.
do a much better, Arnold. Hasta la vista, baby.
Very nice.
You never
There we go.
disappoint. You never
Take come.
Now
Thank
do
you for
the
$2.
rest of the show in Schwarzenegger fashion, please.
You don't want that, trust me.
Actually, I kind of do.
It will happen. It will totally fucking happen, yeah.
All right, you're making my
Once
night.
I get
Tom.
into it, sometimes I can't get out.
Are we gonna
Go
get to
see
the
Jingle
topic?
All the Way.
God, help me.
I love Schwarzenegger, Tom.
Oh, get to the chopper.
But I hate Batman, Tom. So there's my balance.
I
Get to
love
the chopper and bring popcorn. I like popcorn, yeah.
My lip.
And I'll be nice and I won't bring out Batman tonight.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Christmas
Because I don't
comes
like
early.
Batman. I am Mr. Freeze.
That's
It's gonna be a
right.
cold down and down tonight.
Now that's a
Ah,
love story I can get behind.
right?
Jeez.
I just imagine Tom's face just contorts.
I know. One of these days I gotta see it with the cam on. That's a great.
That would give away the mystery. Mystery box. See what I did there? Yeah, I like
Oh, wait,
JJ.
peanut gallery.
That's true. That's true. Okay. So we're caught up with super chats, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So,
I believe that gets us through the leaks tonight, guys, as well as the Palpatine article about him being dead. And we've all, of course, expressed severe discontentedness with that. So we're going to have one other article that we're going to go over here. I'll go ahead and share that. We are not going to read this entire thing because it gets incredibly political. We're just going to hone in on a couple of points here. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull this up for you beautiful folks
this
out
is
there.
the CNN beauty that
The
came out this week.
CNN. Oh, Russian bots, ladies and gentlemen.
We are all Russian butts.
we
Okay.
are Russian bots, folks.
This
In
is
Russia-
CNN.
In Mother Russia, or in
Yes.
Soviet Russia, no one can hear you cry for Star Wars. So,
Soviet Russia, Star Wars, watch you.
this comes to us from none other than CNN News because this is what they should be reporting on. Hard hitting
Yeah.
news, guys. So, let me just turn this on.
That title is a beaut, though. Have to
Oh.
say.
Such a pain. So, the rise of Skywalker takes flight after the rise of Star Wars.
Just look at that picture of that author. Just look at him. He looks so
No.
proud of himself there.
Here's
He's like, hey guys, look what I did there. Look what I did there.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
No, hashtag not sponsored. CNN wouldn't dare to sponsor. We're far too disruptive. So,
Do you need to get a one of those blockers like a Terminator, like an ad Terminator?
I like it when Tom cuts himself off.
Oh, I love Schwarzenegger Tom. Yes.
we're not going to get super far into this. We're just going to read just far enough to get the point of what we will be discussing tonight. So, CNN says Star Wars has always enjoyed a strong bond with fans, which has become one of its defining features. Yet, as the rise of Skywalker brings the original saga to a close, the original saga. Yeah, I was pretty sure that was already closed off. We're good with that, but whatever. The rise of trolls threatens to fundamentally change that relationship. It's our fault, guys. The backlash against The Last Jedi, the 8th movie in this particular series, turned inordinately vitriolic. While there are legitimate questions about how representative these voices are, there are questions about how representative our voices are. Guys, we need more female representation. Where are my pearls? I'm going to clutch them. I'm sorry. We need better female representation. And indeed, what role, here it is, this is it right here. What role Russian trolls and political provocateurs played in dragging the comments into the sewer. The cacophony from social media has at times made it easier to simply tune out those voices rather than engage them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this little article down here because that's essentially what this article gets pretty politically charged. And in fact, it gets incredibly politically charged up.
I don't have any clutches to pearls or pearls to clutches, whatever you call it. But I did have a baby once. Does that count? Yeah.
So we are, in fact, guys, we're not here. We don't exist. CNN has deemed it so. We are, in fact, Russian trolls or political provocateurs.
I'm gonna have to add that to my Twitter. I'm gonna have to add that to my Twitter now because I was a toxic white male, then I was an incel, and now
Living
I
in your
can add
mom's
Russian
basement.
bots.
So I have
I
a
need
little
more
thing.
spaces.
I have a little thing I wrote down here that I'm going to read for you guys. I'm going to read this verbatim because I'm proud of myself. Okay, that's why I'm going to read.
You should be.
So, this article refers to us as mere trolls. This is a flawed argument in and of itself because it suggests that we are not thoroughly invested in this franchise, that we as a fan community have not spent billions of dollars on this, as though we are not deeply concerned with its well-being. It goes on to insinuate that we may be nothing more than Russian bots or even political provocateurs, as though we have some specific interest in politics, or even, or as though we have some specific interest in politics. This could not be further from the truth. And in fact, it is quite the opposite. We want the politics out of our Star Wars. We want to see it be neutral once again. This fandom is made up of people from all across the political spectrum. We know each other. And we're friends despite the stark contrasts in our political leanings. No, we are not bots. We are people. People who love this franchise and want to see it returned to its former glory. But you can't do that when your main motive behind making these films is the political agenda you accuse fans of having. We are not the ones who are interested in a political agenda. We want it gone. We want it out of our Star Wars. And yes, we are deeply invested in what happens with Star Wars because these are our current myths. This is our mythology. These are the people we set on pedestals and we learn our values from. We very much care. We are not trolls. We love this franchise and we will absolutely go to battle for it in a heartbeat. That's what we're doing. So,
yep. And if they're gonna call me a troll again or a Russian bot, they better put femme in the middle of it because I'd much rather be a Russian fembot.
There you go.
I want little
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. I love that movie so much.
Don't
I'm
ever
sorry.
apologize for that again.
The things I do, I have no reason why I did that, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, well, you know what happens when we hit over two.
Those are
2
milk
hours.
cannons.
Brought the belly dancer out of me. Just want to shake and shimmy now.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the 450 of you still watching. You got to witness that.
Please don't. Yeah, I was gonna clip that. Damn it.
Actually, that is amazing that you girls have been able to keep such a huge crowd considering you're going up against the Inquisition. That says a lot to the...
the Inquisition's on tonight. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I didn't
And
know
hopefully, and we don't want to go up against them, so we're talking about changing the schedule a little bit. So
Candace
do
took
stay
some
tuned for
sassy
that.
pills.
So
What
hopefully
did I do?
that'll help.
Candace
Caddy took some sassy pills.
Oh God. I love fembots. They're great. They're so funny.
Look, guys, you don't know, man. Candace behind scenes is exactly the same. She didn't take sassy pills. She is a sassy pill.
And this is and this is me sober.
One of these days we'll do a Fimbot drunk stream.
We're not real,
Oh,
guys.
that'd be so much fun.
You keep
Milk
saying
cannons.
you got something for me. Yeah, I love that song. I love it. It's great.
Milk cannons for everyone.
No blue milk required.
Or
yeah.
green.
Yeah, no blue milk.
Bullets, not blue milk.
No required, guys.
Da-
Jesus.
da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
I didn't know
Yeah.
Russian bots could have this much personality.
Right?
Oh, just as fun. Just as fun.
That's what blows
Yes.
my mind about this article. If they behave as though we're not really here, but here we sit. If they knew anything about the community on which they are reporting, if they knew anything about us, they wouldn't dare say that we're bots, that we're trolls. Trolls don't work in tandem together the way that this community works together. We know each other. We have relationships with each other. And that's what's astounding to me is there's so many of us and we still maintain these tight, thick bonds, these legitimate friendships that span across the internet with one another. We sat in a hangout earlier today, passionately discussing the show that we were going to bring to you tonight, discussing these leaks and sorting this out because we are real people, genuinely invested in this. And then those friendships extend beyond that. We call each other, oh my God, guess what just happened? We legitimately care for one another because we're real people and we exist within this world. And this is something that we're invested in. But you don't know us and you don't want to. You're happy to slap a label on us and claim that we're bots, we're trolls, we don't care, that we're mucking up the relationship that Star Wars has with its fans. We are the fans.
We need to get those totally real human being cards to add to our
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about? We are the fans. We're here because we care. That's why we exist in the first. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of all these YouTube channels, guys. It's because we care.
I mean, I could go get my birth certificate, but I feel like that would do me more harm than good.
Well, I mean, that's the whole impetus, I think is the word I'm looking for the show, is that, you know, it's not just a bunch of toxic white males. It's in the intro, guys, for a reason. You know, I mean, this whole fandom, and this is just nothing but a hit piece on CNN's part. I mean, it's some of the worst reporting I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I know some people personally who were contacted about this article for some, I don't know if it was research questions, whatever, but they didn't even want to get involved with it because they knew shit was going to get twisted because in the past CNN has done the same thing, and some of the other news organizations have too. Let's not just pretend it's CNN. There's a lot of other ones. New York Times even had an article that was similar to this. Of course, we're typically seeing, you know, like Scott Mendelson and all those asshats doing the same kind of shit all the time, and he's even got one out now that Star Wars doesn't even need to be successful for Disney to be okay.
Yeah.
They don't need Star Wars. No. They may not need Star Wars, but those investors sure are going to get pissed if they don't start seeing a return on that $4 billion.
Right? You spent a whole lot, and that's not to even touch on the money that you poured and invested into Galaxy's Edge. I guess that's
right. Everybody's all like, "Oh, they made their money back." No, let's look at the actual fucking math here, guys. They've had how many movies now? They're four movies.
Yeah.
This one not counting because it hasn't made any money yet.
Yeah.
five
Five.
Rise of Skywalker.
But we can't count Rise of Skywalker because it hasn't made a dime yet, right?
Right.
Now, first of all, they don't get all the money that that 1 point whatever billion or whatever the Last Jedi made. They didn't get all that. They only got a portion of that, right? So you add it all up, maybe at this point between, if you subtract all the advertising and all the other bullshit, the Galaxy's Edge bullshit, everything else added onto that 4.5 billion, that probably puts it up to almost by double. Probably you're looking at about $10 billion investment now at this point. Do you think they made anywhere near close $10 billion?
Even if you gave them all of the money that the movies themselves have made, which you can't do, right? Like you can't say, oh, because this movie made $1.7 billion or whatever at the box office, because you know this movie made over $1 billion at the box office, that they've gotten that much back. No, you can't do that because you have to factor in the merchandising aspect of
Which sat in a warehouse till it got shredded.
I'm sorry, the advertising aspect of it. You have to factor in the fact that they don't take that entire haul home. I don't care how much it made at the box office. They're not taking that whole haul home with them. That has to be split between them and the movie theaters, guys. The movie theaters
All that and other money people, yeah.
You have to pay people to do this stuff. You don't get Disney doesn't get all of that money back. No, it's nowhere near close.
Well, and it's also a competitive move to keep their competitors from receiving any kind of money from this franchise as well. So they look at it from two ways. From a business standpoint, which is what my degree was in, that's the big kicker, because there was other people in the mix that were very close to getting this franchise, and for a few reasons that they did, but they bid very close, or came very close to it. So yeah, I think that it's also just smart to keep the competition from getting any of the monies also.
Right, but as far as I was saying, it's like, the investors, the stockholders, the shareholders, the big people at Disney, they haven't probably seen a dime yet from this Star Wars investment. As much as you can say these movies, it's Solo lost money, folks. # Solo lost money.
Yeah, Solo lost money.
Yeah, you can even factor that into the equation. That's what blows my mind, is behaving as though Star Wars is some minuscule aspect to what it is that the overall Disney intake should be. No, it's not. They made a giant bet when they spent $4 billion, right? I'm sure they didn't see it as a gamble at the time because it was Star Wars, but then you put it into the hands of inept people, and here we are. So no, the money hasn't been made back yet. And I guarantee you that if they continue to move forward with this whole general audiences nonsense, look, you killed the saga, okay? Or you killed the Skywalker saga. You said, we're putting an end to that. We're stopping it. What do you think the draw for people is going to be after that? Why do you think people are going to care? Why do you think people are going to show up? Because I guarantee you, after the Skywalker saga has ended, because Skywalker is synonymous with Star Wars, once that's over, your audience is just the hardcore fans. The general audience isn't going to care. You shouldn't lose us. We matter. We have value to you. And if you can't see that, you're a fracking moron.
Can't see that, just F them, as Ryan Johnson would say.
Yes, just F them. Do you realize that since they're moving to their live stream and all this stuff, that they're going to lose a lot more money than doing the movies and stuff as well? So they're going to put all that Mandalorian is a high budget thing. They offer Disney Plus for free for Verizon Wireless people. Yeah. That does not make sense. And then you had a free week trial for everybody else, and it's only $6.99 a month. You're still not going to make enough to even per viewing or per Mandalorian episode to make up that money on that alone.
And those general audience fans that you're so determined to cater towards, guess what they're gonna do whenever it comes time for you to release your little Obi-Wan Kenobi series that you're banking on? They're gonna wait, because you like to do this episodic release, right? You want to release it in episodes. They're gonna wait till it's all out. They're gonna take a free trial, or they'll pay for a month, and then they'll cancel, because nothing else you offer is worth it. Period.
Yep, pretty much.
That's it.
Couldn't agree more. There.
So much, because your little general audience fans aren't going to wait up till 3:00 in the fracking morning for the next release of the
worst. God, I hate my Fridays now. Thank you, Disney.
What are you doing? What are you doing? We're not going to wait.
I'm on the West Coast, so I'm okay with that. I get it out a little after midnight. So I feel bad for you guys.
I'm Mountain Time, and I can barely hang on. Doing a live stream right after
3:00 in the morning. We have to stay up till to see that crap. Is that what you expect your general audiences to do? You think they're going to do that for you, sweetheart? You're stupid.
I barely didn't want to after I saw The Expanse. I almost didn't. So there you go.
You're stupid. Sorry. I'm amused by this. So I don't know what they think is going to happen.
We went through all the stages of grief on this stream.
We did. Welcome to acceptance with me, you all. I'm glad to have you here.
Oh yeah,
I've been here for a little while now, and now I just laughed about it. It's happy times.
We got a few more super chats to get through, and then we can probably start wrapping this up. Let's see here where they go. Wrong button. We left off on TechCom, I believe it was, correct?
I don't know.
I was totally paying attention.
Yeah, because we got the silver 99 one. So, okay. TechCom, $2. I'm Mega Jetty, by the way. Skynet terminates the First Order. All right. Yeah, I think TechCom Mega Jetty wants me to do some plugs for him in Schwarzenegger. So, because I said something to him after this next comment. I'm like, if you're fishing for just some plugs or whatever for your channel, just get a hold of me. I'll do some fresh, clean ones so they don't sound like all over, you know. Because the other one is TechCom, $2. Preserving the Terminator lore since 1984. I'm assuming he wants me to say it like that. Yeah, right. See, now I got my dog in the background. Is that what you want on the track?
Oh, Doggo just wanted to be part of it.
Preserving the Terminator lore since 1984. That's what he wants me to say. Like that. And I'll do that on a clean track for you and send that to you. Because obviously Sadie knows I'm trying to do that for you clean. So she's got to get involved in the show. So I will do that for you, Mega Jetty. Just get a hold of me on Twitter. I think I have you on my Twitter. So, and my messages are open. So anybody should be able to get a hold of me. Monton Thills? Yeah, Sadie. $4.99. I know. Russian fembots sound like a subplot from Austin Powers movie. Love you, girls in time. We'll love you back. And yes, it does, doesn't it?
I think I want to be a fembot for the next stream.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna be the fembot that CNN just regretted mentioning.
Go get one of those 90s and seriously, I will walk you through how to put the little guns on the seriously, I will walk you through that.
Sounds like you've done this before, Mary.
That would be my idea.
I'm a cosplayer, Tom. I can make anything. I'm just saying.
And I do belly dance costumes, so I can really set up your bodice too. I can help you with that as well. We'll do each boob.
I am surrounded by the right people for this to happen, aren't I? It's almost kind of like I'm really setting it up now. Damn. All righty then. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, now you're talking yourself into it. So.
Just looking out for the audience, Candace. I'm looking out for the audience.
And our very good friend Jaybird comes through with $20. Holy cow. I don't have it in me to see Rise of Skywalker, so I'll be relying on all of you to fill me in. I think seeing the whole trilogy will drive home what a disjointed mess it is. Nobody involved should be allowed to make Star Wars again. I agree, Jaybird, to 20 with the Jaybird third. I was going to say the $20 again. Stupid me.
Use that $20 and go see Jumanji.
Yeah, I can go see Jumanji now. I got to watch the last one yet so I can get caught up. I've got it. I just haven't watched it. Do we have any more super chats to catch up on before we get going here?
I think there were a couple, actually. I thought I saw some $2.
Let's see here. Yeah, we got a couple more.
Yep, James Liskutun? European $2? Liskutun? I'm not sure. He says Kennedy has killed the last elements a 3PO killed. I'm assuming that's in a reference to the fact that poor 3PO has been put through the ringer. They're gonna rip his mind away from him and use him as a plot device. But
R2 has it backed up.
Yeah, R2 has his memory backed up. He's gonna be fine.
You know that droid they've ignored the whole fucking time?
But those are his friends, guys. Those are his friends. Remember?
I'm taking one last look.
I've been trying really hard not to
at the people who killed my friends.
Yeah.
There you go.
At the people who killed the franchise.
I'm just about done with Anthony Daniels' book, and it's pretty boring until you get to the sequels or the Disney sequels, whatever.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just I'm stuck in a tin can and I can't hear anything or see anything. That's pretty much all the book is. Until you get to there, and then he's like, I read the script and I hated it. So did Mark, and so did Carrie. And Harrison Ford was just really high. No, he didn't say that part, but he probably was. So
forget about it.
He's just like, I'm in this scene. I'm going to be able to buy a lot of weed.
Jesus God, Tom.
Do you know that's why, they usually keep him off of the circuit is because he's always so fucking stoned.
Really?
Yeah. He was
Is that
stoned.
why he crashed his plane?
Yeah, probably. I think that was the one time he did. He was clean.
Well, then I don't blame him for wanting to get high.
But yeah, no, like I guess he did the entire Star Wars trilogy high, the Indiana Jones, every movie he's done is high.
Wow, he did really well in Star Wars.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be a
I'll have to look
carpenter
at
to
his
get
eyes a little
stoned.
closer next time.
He just wanted to be a carpenter and get stoned. He didn't want to be Han Solo, you know?
Yeah.
That's all he wanted.
Well, he's always going to be my Han Solo, so too bad.
Bang Teamsters, you know?
Too bad.
So I want to thank everybody. I think that's about all we have to say. Or was there anything else anybody had to add to anything?
Awesome. I think we covered it tonight.
I was going to say, I think.
You fembots, you Russian fembots.
Yes.
Shake it.
So do check out the ladies of the Toxic Femininity Television Show. The links are in the description. And I've also been sharing them throughout. But do show them some love. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Head over to the channels. Do make sure you subscribe there. Do double check to make sure you subscribe to all your favorite channels. Because I have noticed in the last week or so, once again, YouTube's doing its little purge. Because there's a lot of my favorite channels that I've been unsubscribed to, and that's no joke. So do check that out.
I've lost about 25, 30 subs in the last week. And it's not easy, man. It's hard out there for a YouTuber who's trying to do what they can. If you like a channel, if you want to be subscribed to a channel, make sure you double check that subscription because YouTube has no qualms about removing that subscription, regardless of whether or not you gave written consent. It doesn't matter. Hashtag me too.
I like this one. I'm looking for the one-armed droid. What? Oh, wrong movie. What about that one? He's got a red arm. Get off my plane, and that's my lead.
That was actually really good.
It was great. I love your impression.
Yes.
Except for Batman.
Batman's always the best.
Ryan.
No.
You had to go there. You had to.
I'm coming out. You can't hold me back anymore.
Tom, highlight.
Swear to me.
Oh, God.
I'm here.
Tom. Highlight
always
Ryan's
here.
comment.
Here we
I'm
go.
always looking in the dark. Sometimes I'm squatting. Sometimes I'm up on a rafter.
Tom,
Sometimes I just find a cold dark spot.
You promised.
I did.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I broke my promise.
That's all.
She brought him up again, though. It's like Beetlejuice. You can't do that to me.
Tom, could you find Ryan's comment?
I can try if I could read, but you guys have not figured out. I unsubbed to Mary's channel just to freak her out. That's probably something proper Justin does too. You guys, I tell you.
Get him, Mary.
Let me get in
Martha.
here.
Why did you say that name?
God. It is officially the Tom Show now, you guys. I'm
Okay,
I'll see
please
you later.
stop
Bye.
Ryan
Oh,
off.
I'm sorry, Candy.
Bye, Tom.
All right.
I love you, Tom.
Come back,
I'm just
Candy.
kidding. Oh gosh, he's back.
We're gonna go ahead and let these
Come back, Candy.
Candy,
plugging their
I gotta let you guys plug your shows. And then he's
I'm
like,
here.
that drifted into Bill Murray from Caddyshack. Well, at least I got that going for me.
I want candy.
Dun, dun, dun. I sing that to her every time too when she usually pops in. I sing Mary's Along Comes Mary, and then Candy's I Want Candy. Boom, 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 boom. I see I gotta find a song for you two.
Poor Mary.
Speaking of you two, OG Star Wars girl, second week in a row. Amazing.
Oh,
That was
Thank
that you
you.
joined us.
you must really like us. Well,
Yeah.
I
wow.
love you guys. I love this toxicness that we have going on here. It's beautiful.
Well, and
Beautiful,
you have
beautiful.
an amazing wealth of knowledge when it comes to the EU. So you're a welcome addition when we have you, and I'm sure we'll have you back again real soon. I think we were talking about taking next weekend off, ladies. No, not next weekend. The weekend after.
between Christmas and
Yes, yeah, between Christmas and New Year's. So we will have a show next week, and then between Christmas and New Year's we will not have a show. And I think we're gonna discuss the schedule change so we're not butting up against the Inquisition. So we'll do our best to let you guys know as soon as we know that. But in the meantime, why don't you lovely ladies introduce yourself, starting with OG Star Wars Girl, because you are our guest this evening.
All right, so my name is OG Star Wars. I'm your Legends girl trying to make it in this canon world, and I would love it if you guys help me get to 1,000 subscribers here and go subscribe to my channel for EU lore, knowledge, a little bit of the news, live stream. Maybe one day I'll have these beautiful ladies here on my show as well, and we can just ham it up in there. So thank you guys for having me.
Come on, there's over 300 of you in the chat. Click that link I just posted in there. Get over there and subscribe to this woman. Get her up there. Let's go. All right, Miss Sarcastic Nerd, tell them about your lovely self.
Well, I'm Miss Sarcastic Nerd, but you can call me Miss. I have a channel if you want to check that out. I also have a Twitter if you want to check that out. I'm totally just asking, not telling you to go check it out, not trying to be forceful or mean about it or threaten you in any way. at all. I'm also not hungover.
Get off my Falcon.
Nice.
And I love Star Wars, even though it sucks right now, which in itself just makes me very depressed.
We'll
That's why she
always
wears
have the
glasses.
originals.
Hmm.
Yep. There's
So
always
do
a silver lining.
So do subscribe to Miss Sarcastic Nerd. I just dropped her link in the chat. And the next link I'm dropping is Miss Candy herself, Geeky Candy. Do tell the folks about you.
Well, I'm Candace, aka Geeky Candy, and I have a channel too. I have a Twitter, I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram. You can pretty much catch me anywhere at Geeky Candy. And right now I'm covering Mandalorian, some Star Wars stuff, got some Matrix, some Batman in the mix with some Wonder Woman, and I play video games a lot. So come join me in the chat sometimes next time I go live. Right now I've got Fallen Order and Call of Duty in the mix. So
She's not kidding.
Let's
She's
play.
always playing games.
I am a different person in my game streams too. Wholly different person. So
I drop in once in a great while because I'm like, oh, she's doing a stream. Oh, it's a game stream.
The aggression is beautiful.
Scares
it's
me.
there, yeah. I let it out on people. That's for sure.
It makes things turtle up. So I'm like, okay, I can't watch this. But you guys can watch it. Check it out. It just scares me.
I like scaring Tom.
I enjoy.
But you can also catch Candy on Geeks and Gamers, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes. And another person you can catch on Geeks and Gamers is, of course, our hostess with the mostest. Last but definitely not least, the mistress of mayhem herself, Mary B. Do tell the chat about whom you are.
Well, hi guys. I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I talk about newsy news stuff during the week. On the weekends, I switch it up a little bit, and we do a comedy improv show called Shenanigans, as well as some other different types of things. Although we will not be doing Shenanigans this coming Friday because The Rise of Skywalker is dropping, and I know what my priorities are. It is my job to rip this apart. As an official Whammon card holder, I am going to be there for this community and make sure that I can do whatever I have to in order to dissect this sucker. And guess what they can't do to me? They can't call me a misogynist. They can't call me a sexist. So they'll try to ignore me. But it's really hard to ignore someone whenever they're putting their voice out there consistently and as provocatively as I try to do so. So please do so. Go subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you guys over there, and hopefully I'll catch you around later.
It is really funny how watching The Rise of Skywalker really feels like a sacrifice.
It does. It does.
She couldn't even say it. She's like, it's that bad. Can't even say the name. It's awful. Terrible.
God,
Yeah.
what a horrible name. What
I'm actually looking forward to it now. I was dreading it for like the last 2 years, and then now it's like after all these leaks, I'm like, this is gonna be the funniest fucking movie of the year.
I'm with you, Tom.
I can't wait
told
to
you
see
it's the
this.
best comedy out for the holiday season. Join your family there at the theaters. Make sure you catch Palpatine all his greatness, just giving
I'm
you the
not
giggles, laughing your ass off.
I am
It's for
not
fucking kids, dog.
I am not paying
Yeah.
for this shit. It is not happening.
Yeah.
Am I going to be seeing it on Thursday? Yeah, but I got a friend. Hi.
Well, guess what? Andre gets to see it a little bit earlier than everybody. And Wednesday, he's going to do a live, I believe, breakdown of the movie.
So fancy.
So stay tuned.
So fancy.
I'm in physical and emotional pain about this whole thing.
He might save me $10
I could
bucks.
see it, darling. I could
Actually,
see it.
like 15 anymore. The erection of Skywalker.
No, it's the erection of Palpatine if we want to get serious about this.
Right.
Palpatine on his stick.
It's not really. I'm just a meat puppet.
Oh my god.
So who do you want? I can bring anybody out. You want Darth Vader? I can bring out Darth Vader.
Palpatine doesn't
The hell
like
is this
light.
shit?
You don't
right.
know the
That
power
means
of
it's
the
working.
dark
It's slow.
side.
See? See, I can do it. I can even do Cosby. You put the pudding in the pudding pot, and then you put the pot where the pudding's not supposed to be. Ow.
Space horses in Star Wars. Sure.
I know.
Space horses, that was my idea.
Tom, I've got a chair for you right here, Tom.
Miss-
Come on over.
All right, I'm done. I'm done. Miss is gone. We lost her. We lost her.
Love you, Miss.
We loved you, Miss. It was nice
Baby,
knowing
And
you.
now we're missing Miss.
You can blame it
Yes,
all
we're missing it.
on me. Baby,
I think it's pretty obvious that the ladies are telling me I need my own show.
we're trying to say
Is that what he took away from it? Oh,
Yes.
dear. Okay. Okay. All right.
I'm a half glass empty kind of guy.
Well, on that note,
Let's Miss, are you gonna come back to say goodbye?
It's just snowing over there. It's just that.
I can't close the show with you mad at me. You know, I just can't do that. So
I went to get gum.
oh, all right. See, she wasn't even mad at me. You guys made me feel like shit for no reason.
It was mad.
well, that's the best thing we can do for
I'm
you.
still starting my own show now. Thanks a lot.
All right. Good luck.
I don't know when or where that'll be, but
Not at this time.
Mary,
For
I'm gonna
sure.
put it on your channel. What? You don't want it?
That's what she said. Oh.
Good night, folks. Thanks once again for joining us on Toxic Femininity. I don't think we can beat that. Goodbye, everybody.
Proving that the Fandom Menace isn't just toxic white males, it's toxic femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge with Miss Sarcastic Nerd, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, the mistress of mayhem herself, Miss Mary Mayhem.